me say cerveza.
It's time for the beer podcast, Morty.
Worst beer podcast ever.
Steve and Adam, funny guys.
Hop Nation USA, beer podcast leaders for over 5 years.
It's episode 271 of the Hop Nation USA podcast, and if you can tell from the great acoustics, this is a once-in-a-year type event. We are back in the Parkway Theater Lounge Theater. We're at Abjuration.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the best setup I think we have ever had for an on-location podcast.
Yes, this is the best setup we've ever had because the acoustics are great, the chairs are comfy, and we got some real professional mic stands that were left over from another production.
We are willing to pick up other people's scraps.
Hell yeah. Don't leave your stuff around because I'm a scavenger. But, yes.
I'm glad to be here. I really am.
Yeah, of course. But anybody who's been listening to this program for any length of time, they know we basically do a yearly show here at Abjuration because they were one of the first breweries to invite us into their space at the beginning of the podcast. And now here we are 5 years later for both of us, really.
We have risen together.
We celebrated our 5-year in March, and Abjuration will be celebrating their 5-year coming up November 26th. Good old after Thanksgiving weekend for them.
It's going to be a mad rush weekend.
Oh, yeah. But tonight we're joined by the owners and brewers, Dave and Tom. Say hello, fellas.
Hey, everybody.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming back. Thanks for, again, allowing us to come into your space and, steal all the things that are left around.
Not nailed down.
Yeah.
We didn't get here by always rounding every corner off. Sometimes you got to, take the easy way through.
But whoever's equipment this is, rest assured we will put everything back.
Oh, it's definitely Aaron. Definitely Aaron.
Yeah, I think it's
our beneficial host of this side.
The venue stuff.
Yeah, the Parkway Theater. They do comedy normally on Tuesday night, but I guess with the inclement weather, they didn't decide to do it. Oh, okay. Or they're outside and the bartender's keeping them off. Either way. So one of the things.
It's ours for now.
Yeah, for always for now. They do a lot of different stuff over here throughout the week, and it's right now with the traction that the movies are getting, it's really good for this side. We always want to see them thrive. Mm-hmm. We actually get kind of lost in what we're doing. So every once in a while, like today is it's always a good moment to oh yeah, okay, we're here again. Let's do this. As a reminder that we went around the sun again and the whole thing. It only seems like it's been a minute.
Right on.
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it another year.
We made it another year. We did it. Yeah, it also helps that, your anniversary is towards the end of the year anyway. So, but if we're at Abjuration, that means we're drinking Abjuration beer. And we have a brand new one that we haven't had on the show because that's what we try to do. And again, if you listen to the show at any length, you know that we drink Abjuration throughout the year.
Yes.
But then this is where we get our big Abjuration haul. So,
especially after, that's always the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Dealer's choice is always a good thing to have here.
Spin the wheel.
But with that, Dave or Tom, feel free to introduce the first beer we're drinking tonight.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Well, this is Zach's Baby. This is an oat lager, so it's essentially just an American light lager with 2-row and oats. No, actually, I'm wrong. It's not 2-row. It's Pilsner. It's German Pilsner and oats. That's it. That's pretty much that simple. He homebrewed this way in the early on.
Didn't he oak stave it?
No. He used Pico. That hop, that P-E. I'm probably saying it wrong.
PEI.
Just like cucumber. So I don't know. But I loved the base of that beer. And I also liked it because, we've been having some fun with lager strains. So it's kind of cool to do something that's kind of wait, what is that? I love it. I think it came out great. I think it has a little bit of creaminess. There's earthiness in there too, though, because the oats give that. There's a little bit of El Dorado in there just to kind of not quite brighten it up, but just kind of lean into the, the earthy melaniness.
Yeah. Gives it a little bit of a punch that rather than just being kind of a crackery Pilsner, or lager.
Yeah, that's the bright. That's the bright on it.
Yeah. I think that's the oats too. They kind of take that in this weird way that you're not really expecting. But
we've been using a lot of oats we've always used an F ton of oats. It's never been something we shied away from. I love oats. I think it's always been a good grain to use. And but with Zach really has been doing a lot for us, and this is a really good shine for us for the 5-year. Is that Zach's now the head brewer, And I mean, Dave still writes all the songs, and we all play his music for people at home. But like he's definitely like taken like as much on as he possibly can in every possible way. Right now, he's on his honeymoon, so we could talk good about
Otherwise,
him.
he'd probably be on if you guys
For sure, yeah. He's busy doing one thing in his life that's way more important than this, which is his honeymoon. So we all like,
Oh,
nod.
yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gentle cap nod towards his work he did here tonight too.
Yeah.
I think he did a really great job.
Yeah, for the listeners at home, you can go back a couple episodes and listen to the Homebrewers event that we did here at Abjuration, because Zach was paired with one of the homebrewers. He spent a little bit time talking about like how he had ideas for doing more lagers here and everything. So, it's good to see that this is a fruit of those, ideations that he had. And I tell you, it is completely different from a lot of lagers you'll see.
Yes,
This is one of the palest beers I've ever seen, and it is actually right on par with Allagash White.
Yes, it is.
I would say so.
Yeah, it looks like Allagash White.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the Blue Moon side of the Force for those that maybe haven't had Allagash White.
Yeah.
As far as being that super pale, I love it. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it definitely has a very interesting look to it, doesn't it? It's very light.
Well, because for me, I'm so trained with lager, it's going to have that copper color to it. That's the automatic correlation. And then as soon as I saw this poured up, like, wait a minute, did they pour the right beer?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Allagash White. Like it also has a little bit of that haze, which I'm assuming is because of the oats.
Yep.
And then to taste it, though, it also doesn't drink what you would think of as like a usual Pilsner. I don't want to say it's as good as Pilsner Urquell, because I think that's like my favorite Pilsner, and I don't like Pilsners. So, but it has its own uniqueness in that it has like that kind of bigger mouthfeel up front. It's a little creamier, and then the back end does have that bitterness that's popped by the hops. So like it has interesting flavors all throughout. It doesn't just taste like fucking VFW fucking crackers.
Right. It's kind of it's kind of a beer drinker's beer, because there's a lot there to kind of dissect and figure out what's going on. So you keep coming back to it.
It's crispy yet has mouthfeel.
Yeah, it is very
which
crispy.
I think is I'm glad a lot of people didn't come here that I think are real snobbish about it, because I don't want anybody to see this come until it's like 4 more iterations down the road. And they're like, oh my goodness, that's really, really great. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of art here to go through. And that's another thing. And you would not to say that I think everybody at home has to do a shot or drink beer at least every time we say the words 5 and year next to each other. So that'll be the theme of the podcast.
We're not going to have any listeners left.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're at home, we hope. Or they're ripped at the treadmill.
Yeah.
Either way, you know what I mean?
They'll just keep, it'll autoplay into our back catalog, and we're going to get record numbers.
Yeah, I'm into it. But in that same way, I think this definitely shows, even in year 5, the team is still pushing boundaries every day possible. Every single beer we make has the idea of, will the customers notice? Absolutely.
Yes.
Because we want them to see our heart in it, if nothing else. And that's why we make these beers. I think this has got Zach's heart right up front. He fights hard. He fights so damn hard. Like I couldn't be more impressed with someone who, we get a lot of people that want to come in here and they say, hey, let's collaborate. And then 6 years later, like, we really never got around to doing that, did we? And you're like, yeah, okay. So you get a lot of people that, they don't, we always call it Fight Club a bit. You got to stay on the porch for a while and show us you really care. But in that way, Zach cared from minute 1 and fought really hard. And so everything Dave and I do is self-taught. Nobody showed Dave too much about how to make beer, and the same with me. Like, we both essentially did our own thing. We had a lot of YouTubes and a lot of helps and a lot of friends. A lot of friends, you know what I mean? Especially peers. Like my uncle came out once and he was like, we did a little run through, and you got to listen, Yep. What do you want to say about that, Dave? You're good.
I'm good on that.
Okay, right. But I mean, I would say then specifically just for like, nobody showed Dave what to do. I mean, we were 8 years into homebrewing and we made the jump, because it was time,
And thank goodness you did.
Yeah. They've all heard this before, Tom.
Oh, no, yeah, right. So,
There's always good. Yeah, there's always
the idle
new
recap
listeners.
of the 5 year. So.
Yeah, just to jump back to the beer for a second, though, like, it's interesting that you mentioned, Dave, that like the first kind of iteration that Zach did was made with like a different kind of hop that gave it like a cucumbery flavor, and like this one has more
This is
earth.
my opinion on Pico.
I don't know that hop, so
herbal cucumber. I
Yeah.
don't know. Strange.
yeah, I've never had that hop, so I don't. I don't know it that well, but I think this one would be really interesting. Because it like the El Dorado is just kind of there present as like an earthy bitter. It's not, it doesn't stand out in a way that you.
Yeah, we did put a little bit of it on the front end to try to just give like a little, like just brighten it up just a little bit. Because I was worried how earthy it would be from the oats.
But I'd be interested in like different iterations. Like, what does this taste like with a Strata? What does this taste with?
We can change the hop. We can also I'd hate to hurt the color of it now, but you could use there are malted oats, many options of different versions of malted oats now with all the craft malting. And I mean, like crystal oats, there's all, I mean, you could do a lot with it. So
I agree.
We'll play around in this.
I mean, I know you guys will, because you guys love to start.
For sure. Well, now we're talking about doing a dark oat lager.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know you guys love to start with a base and then just make iteration off of that.
Yep.
So
Obsessed on it. Yep.
430 on Untapped right now, including some of the festival beers.
Really?
Yeah, the 430 beers. I mean, but granted, we had probably 30 or 40 when we started.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some on Untapped that shouldn't be on there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But we did just pass like 400. So
yeah. And it was for us, it's still really, really crazy that, how we always had the idea that, we should just make the best beer possible and see what happens. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is one of those beers, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, for like listeners at home, like that 400 it is a lot of iteration of, like, yes, you guys have like a lot of different beer styles, but there's also a lot of iteration in there of,
for sure,
like, which I always appreciated because it's like a front facing transparency for the customer, like plenty of other companies will just brew something and call it that, but they'll change the recipe as it fits for, budgets and whatever fucking ingredients are available.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys will just say, we changed the ingredients, so this is different. Yeah. So
the version is the change of the ingredient. The iteration is the exact copy of a previous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we won't even change the version. So like the Schwartz beer right now is 1.0. That's what it was last year. We didn't change it.
Yeah,
okay, right on.
Brewed
Same
same as.
It's an iteration of that version.
Right on.
So we've made more than 430 beers in that time period,
Right?
Because we made a lot of beers more than once,
right?
And they don't just get another notch on them because we made it again,
Right.
And so
You don't want to have inflated numbers.
Yeah, and it's really a tracking system for us, and the whole thing was so the customer knows what they're getting, but also so we can keep track because we knew this was going to get really gnarly really fast. And Dave took the brunt of all of that. You're going to hear a lot of that tonight about, Sisyphus rolled the rock up the hill, right? And, the thing is you got to think he's happy about doing it. And Dave's rolled a lot of rocks up a lot of hills. I've rolled a couple of rocks myself, you know what I mean? And, but you got to think like this is our joy. It's what we do because we, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's net positive. So,
What else would you be doing?
Yeah, right.
So with that, let's kind of move on and look ahead. We're talking about like what's going on, and again, it's always the anniversary when we come by. So, what are the big plans for the anniversary this year?
Bunch of beers on.
Yeah, just a bunch of beers.
Blue Sparrow's going to be here at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's always a big, nice yank.
We'll have a jazz band from like 6 to 8. Roger Romero. We'll have a nice jazz band put together for us. So that should be really, really, really cool.
Yeah. If the weather helps at all, we're going to do something fun outside.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll probably have a remote setup as well.
Yeah.
Unless it's like raining constantly all day, we won't.
Right. But we could put it in the theater. We could put it in the back. We could put it anywhere we want just to make sure we have like a second place to serve some beers from to take some of the heat off.
Yeah, but there'll be different beers than we have out there. So we'll have like, I don't know, like 25. Some beers should know the number, but
yeah, a lot of beers on tap. It's I don't know. It's in a way to you guys, it's our big fun extravaganza, but us, it's the most work done in the back of
for
house
sure.
the entire year. It's so in a way, it's like, especially we're like right now, like 2 weeks away from, or a week and a half, 10 days. How many days away?
I don't know.
Today's the 15th. It's the 26th, so 11 days away.
Yeah.
Right.
Math checks.
So, right. Yeah. So as we speak now, and we're in the trench part. I ran up and grabbed some bottles, did a thing today, ran out of Aliquippa. Dave's literally every day has to plan out what we're doing because if not, nothing hits. And it's so important for us to make things happen. And, the best part is when the customer gets to have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, like you're in our living room and we want you to feel relaxed and fun and everyone so far of our anniversaries has been nothing but just a vibe festival the entire time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And knock on all the woods. You know, just year 5 is going to be
It
fantastic.
can't be worse than last year. It was snowing last year. So.
Exactly right. Yeah. All I can do is snow again.
Time, so.
Absolutely right. Yeah. We've dealt with snow before.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, every time I've been here for the anniversary, it's been a great time. And, people obviously appreciate it. And it has that kind of nice, kind of fade in, fade out from, fade into Christmas, but fade out from Black Friday and Thanksgiving and everything. So,
Steve, you're exactly picking up on the energy I feel. We put it the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We talked, Dave and I, together because you're done with your family and stuff, and you just really want to wind down and go out, talk to people, have a beer, have a moment that has nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
And we want to give you the best beers to have that moment in. And that's what we get to do with our anniversary party, I think.
Yeah, nobody wants to cook, so you get Blue Sparrow.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Damn right.
It's a good weekend. You know what I mean? We get kind of both, like some people are like, oh, I'm out of town every Thanksgiving weekend. But we get a lot of people like, I'm only in town every Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So it's cool.
And it's sort of like, I don't know, it's like you get to open your heart up for it. So to me, it's the beginning of like the whole process of the end of the year for me. So.
And since it's the 5th year, you got to go big with it as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we have some fun beers planned. So they're all on track.
That sounds like a little bit of a sneak peek there.
Yeah, I mean, I think
well, we're gonna drink one of them tonight.
Yeah.
So
can we give any hints on anything else that might be hitting?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we're doing a sour. I'm gonna keep it generic, but we're doing a sour that has 5 different adjuncts for 5 years. So
Nice.
and kind of the best of the best. It'll be ridiculous, but it needs to be ridiculous, right?
And that's tap only, right?
No. That'll be
the
canned.
Oh, we are canning. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was
canning,
the one booster on the one barrel. Okay.
I'm not even talking about the draft beers that day. Well, those will have to be a surprise. And then we do a triple every anniversary. So we're doing a triple again.
The triple IPA for those at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big hoppy boy. And it's coming in with thunderous hoppiness.
We're just kicking the door in.
Every single one of we did the triple mango, we've done triple IPA, we've done triple, this one's another triple IPA straight up in that way. And they're all doorbusters. Absolutely. I don't know, they don't last long. And we had them in 16-ounce cans that one year, and they were just punishingly good. You're like, okay, that's my afternoon.
Got to plan around it a little bit.
For sure.
What can people expect? Can you give the hop profile on the triple this year? Or
Sure.
yeah, I'll squeeze a little something.
yeah.
out of
We're playing cards here. It's like poker is.
We heavy Citra. With a little touch of Motueka on the dry hop, and then sorry. All right. Heavy Citra, Chinook, Motueka, and then the bittering is Idaho 7. So it's actually first wort hop to just get some of the oils in there. It's actually very similar to last year's triple, which was like the big guns, Citra, Mosaic, Motueka, but instead of Mosaic, it's Chinook, but it's Michigan Chinook. So little juice in there from that Chinook as well, but the same like Chinook, like, smack you around with pine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Do dig that.
So,
especially Michigan Chinook. I think, everybody wants to say, like, what's their favorite version of what? I actually think, for whatever reason, Michigan makes a fantastic Chinook.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've enjoyed it quite a bit.
So is there any reason why the Michigan Chinook is a little bit better? Is there something?
I don't know.
It's all those climbs and whatnot. We're looking at like what comes from Yakima, because Yakima is like, they always want to say, all the things that grow next to sativa grow great with the hoppies. You know what I mean? So, the Golden Triangle in California makes some great hops, but Michigan does some great stuff. Michigan Hop Alliance.
I don't know.
We've used them for years.
Yeah, it's really good. It's different. It's unique. So
Right
it's
on.
cool.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I never think of Michigan when I think of hops.
Well, and they really do a good job with it. They have a whole thing.
There's a couple. Yeah, we actually have one right now. We're doing a collab with Michigan Hop Farm.
Okay.
for. So I don't want to give anything else away. I mean, there people are growing hops. You know, what I mean? It's just a matter of time before they figure out their climates and they make a product that everyone wants. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I know you, Dave. You grow your own hops.
I do. Yeah.
Is there anything
so those hops are hops that I get from like people from the Michigan climate.
Okay.
So they grow very well
Right,
because they're used to growing in this area. And I mean, they're like, 10, 15 years in now, at least 10.
Oh, okay.
So not the hops that I plant. I just mean like their culture of their hops, and they just know they like this climate. I mean, year one, the hops here in McKees Rocks are like aggressive.
Yeah, Dave's alluding to our beer garden that was this year's real feature.
Right.
We managed to get. I mean, at very first, you watch stuff and you're like, these plants are never going to go because they're little tiny guys. And Dave's like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Because he's got a lot more years in. You know, he's been growing hops at his house.
You doubted me.
I did a little bit. There's a little, especially on the one side. I was like, oh, they're going to be little.
Yeah.
And,
well, I did fail in one area, but yeah.
it's okay. It was a peccadillo. So. It was a small sin for those at home. Peccadillo. Sorry, it's your word of the moment. The PECCDLO. Anyway, the hops took off and are so big outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm almost like
I'm
a druid
terrified of what it's
spell.
going to be next year. I'm terrified.
Right. Dave doesn't want to play the druid character in the party, but obviously I'm berserker anti-paladin up front, and then Dave's going to be the druid. I think this beer garden, it's been pretty good. Yeah,
just growing and green thumbing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I've seen his talents for many years on everything.
Well, that might be why
possible.
I'm good at handling yeast too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're a grower. Your children are strong too.
Cultivator.
Yeah, man.
Druid class
For sure.
It's good. It's good.
I've seen you play a druid before too.
Yeah.
Once with Floof.
Yeah.
We actually used to be nerds when we were kids. Yeah, sorry.
Used to be.
Yeah, because we're old now. We don't have time to play D&D. We're running a brewery and a fun.
Doesn't make you stop being nerds.
We're trying to get a gaming night together. Honestly,
it'd be great if it was Monday too. Here, I just don't want to have to do the prep work for other people. It sucks.
I'm sure there's DMs out there.
Yeah, you find another dungeon.
Oh, for
we
sure.
need a DM who wants to,
Well, now's your chance. Put it out. There's.
Monday
we're
gaming.
looking for somebody to run some games on Monday.
Yeah, Monday nights.
So.
I only have a couple games that I bought at my house before the pandemic. One of which was Pandemic, and so now we have an expansion. We haven't really gotten to me and my girlfriend, but we played the original of like 4. We got all of the small expansions for it and stomped them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no losses currently. I don't think we've lost those the game versus the players.
Right.
Okay.
So like the way the game goes is like you have to beat the game,
Yeah.
and how the cards are arranged or how the things are done. So, but Monday night would be really good for us, especially because we normally close around 9, and football doesn't even start till 8. And as breweries don't get to go till 2 a.m. So
Right.
if we have a late Monday night game, we've legally been forced to be closed for a while, so nobody wants to be told to go home.
So if anybody is interested in DMing or starting up a game night,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just on Facebook always.
Yeah, it
hit
doesn't.
them up on Facebook. Send us an email. We'll pass it along.
I mean, the very least, your of-age players may have a beer while they enjoy the courtyard.
That's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, whatever you want to call the infield here, where all the air and stuff is, when it's closed. Yeah. I was trying to be a little cool with the D&D part of it. The courtyard,
The courtyard.
yeah,
The gathering. The mezzanine.
yeah. We're digressing like an MF right now, so we love you guys. But sorry for everybody at home who listens to us. Just it's my fault.
It's pretty much expected.
There's a big overlap between our audience and D&D players.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
There's plenty of
they're right
nerds
at home.
listening. So
I'm a second edition guy. Tease the controversy. Swear to God.
I'm a 3.5 man myself, so
I understand
3.5 is
the kids.
sweet spot.
I just
now who feels left out, Steve?
yeah.
I don't know. I get the references. I just don't play the game.
Did you console or anything? Did you ever game?
I play plenty of RPGs that are like similar.
Yeah, right.
Like
Baldur's Gate type stuff. Or,
Yeah. I played Diablo and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, Diablo.
So like,
Manual.
like I'm aware. I just never played tabletop. I played one game of Battle Mech.
Oh yeah,
with this kid in high school, and it was such a miserable experience. I never wanted to go back.
Yeah.
because like him and his dad were really into it.
You need a pocket calculator for like spread of missiles. Like right. It's like this one's 3 degrees off on the spread pattern. Oh, it's horrifying. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was just in the game was just me, him, and his dad.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, this isn't like fun at all. Like, who the fuck gets into this? and so I never played tabletop again because
for sure, horrible
like
experience.
like now I'm to the point like I probably would play it again and enjoy it, but I just knew like now I know how people have fun.
Oh yeah,
because like there's plenty of like D&D podcasts that you can listen to, and they're very entertaining because they'll tell you a good story. So like if that's the point of telling a story, oh okay, now I get it. It's not fucking doing math on missile spread as you just said.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Oh,
And saying
extra homework.
your lasers are overheated, you can't shoot again.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck kind of game is this? What do you mean it can't shoot again? So
You need bigger heat sinks.
Yeah.
Steve. I mean, we can go into it if you want to know about your heat sinks, but you went in with, you can't just go charging with lasers if you have these tiny little. So what happens is heat sinks will dissipate heat on your lasers in that game. So if they're tiny, then you can only shoot so many at so much strength. And then you turn.
You know the other like the other side of
I got
this.
nucks from Dave on that one because he's played this game before, and I'm actually explaining it correctly.
Well, so the other side of that is I played like Armor Core and MechWarrior.
Oh yes,
which is what that shit is based on.
Yes,
and I played those on the PC and PlayStation before I played the tabletop, and I was like, "Oh, this fucking blows." I'm going back to Armored Core and like
for sure. Oh yeah, we played all these games. We played Armored Core.
This is
Oh my god.
total sidebar. Did you ever play the Robotech game that used to be at Dave and Buster's down in?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was
No, it was MechWarrior there. I think it was a MechWarrior game.
I think it was.
It was either MechWarrior or Robotech, but that was that was part of one of my birthdays.
We spent so much time.
Yeah, we had kill rates and
we
we
would
had
go
characters.
for a couple of months every Friday. We would go down there and play that.
And
we had a crew. We would like take over all the pods.
For the youngins
you
who
were the 10th, you were sad because you got just smoked.
For the youngins who don't know, who've only experienced Fruit Ninja at Dave and Buster's, they used to have a giant setup that was like 10 pods or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they were like flight simulator pods that you got into by yourself.
They closed a door behind you into total darkness. And then all the little buttons and widgets came on.
Yeah.
And all the buttons and widgets did things on the mechs.
Yes. They didn't tell you what they did, but they did stuff.
Yeah. It'll be one to be
And
like,
there were different mechs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was really cool.
Yeah,
It was
it
really cool.
fucking
I was
ruled.
really sad when they pulled that out of there.
Yeah.
Because that was a really cool setup.
Well, it was also very costly, but
Oh, I bet it was.
but I bet you could get them
I bet
now.
it was.
ooh, there's an eBay.
It was,
There's an
but
eBay
at
search.
the time, though, it was like the most expensive thing that was there, though, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It was me.
That's I don't know who's got the space for it or who's looking at space for it. But there's the pool. Everybody's putting pinball in.
Oh, yeah, right.
The new get for a brewery is to get the fucking old Robotech pods.
Oh, God.
Nice. Don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
Yeah.
Write that down. Write that down.
Just put it out into the
Hitting their
ether.
vapes in there. I mean, my God, you can't see what they're doing. Like, you never know if they were vaping something non-legalish in your area.
I mean, I feel
Shooting
like you
people
could
with lasers.
replicate it now with just random multiplayer games.
Oh,
that are
for
out
sure.
there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, you could just get a bunch of Oculuses.
Yeah.
But that's not the same.
Would that be Oculi?
Oculi.
So speaking of
Definitely
video
not the
games, the next beer is not like a trademarked beverage, but it's definitely one of the kind of things you'd redeem for points if you got in a can. Because we're going to go with the, I would say it's like a mountainous something or other, or maybe some cherry redness, or stuff like that. So the next beer should be fun.
All right. Well, let's come back to the beer that we're drinking now.
Yes.
So we can get on to this mountainous
Extravaganza.
adventure. But yeah, let's come back to the oat lager. As I've said in the past, I'm not a big fan of Pilsners. Pilsners have to do a lot of work to make me a fan. Pilsner Urquell is like the one that I like because it has like just enough of that Saaz hop flavor that like pulls it out of those doldrums of like stale cracker ass beer. This has a whole bunch of things going for it that pulls it out of that. It looks like Allagash White, so that's immediately appealing to me. But it has that nice, rich, creamy mouthfeel, and then the Eldorado hops does help it along by giving it just that extra bump of earthy bitterness. It gives it enough flavor. that it sets apart. So
It does.
I'm into it.
And it plays well enough for us non-IPA drinkers because obviously it's not an IPA, it's a lager.
Right.
But it does have that little bit of brightness to it that you were talking about that you might find in a pale ale. But it works really, really well. I like it. I like the color of it. I find that to be a good calling card for the beer. I think that would be a good through thread on any future iterations, minus the dark version. Because
Right.
I don't know how you could do that with the dark version. But all in all, yeah, I like this. And I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. Plus, I'll also just add on top of it, like you get the crispness, but the hops and the bittering, it doesn't dry it out.
No, it doesn't.
So it's like it's a very even drinking. You get like aside from it's even drinking, but also you get like the creaminess up front and then the bright crispness at the back end.
This would be a good beach beer.
But flavor wise, it's the same all the way through. So yeah, it's a good beach beer, good summer beer. I would be interested if a summer version came out with Strata. See what that'd be like.
Oh yeah.
We can
For sure.
bump the hops a little bit, but you'll probably see the dark version before we get to summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll probably
Right
do
on.
it.
That's probably
Dark oat lager is probably coming.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's a testament to all the tanks we have now.
You
So we
will.
wouldn't be able to do the loggers with all the tanks we finally got. So
Yeah.
it's just like finally we're Dave
Yeah,
was
we
saying last
pretty
night
much-
we feel year 3
Well,
about
it's
it.
tough. Well, you got to commit one tank to it. And it's like many arguments like, well, we could do this. And, well, no. Put the lager in that one. That's the lager.
It's okay now.
It's the lager tank. You know?
Got the lager tank, got the sour tank, got the
Yeah, right. Then you
That's
get up
pretty
again.
much it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Jinx the beers that did-
lager tank,
did-
sour
did.
tank, haze tank, or IPA tank, I would say.
Yeah.
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
When you're done listening to this podcast, check out mine. It's called Beer in Front. Every week I talk about a classic beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way. I'll also talk about new beers that have potential to be classics. As the Chicago beer guy, I also talk a lot about great craft beers in the city of Chicago. That's Beer in Front wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to episode 271 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. And we're still here at Abjuration Brewing, specifically in the theater of the Parkway Theater Lounge. We're talking to Tom and Dave, and we're also drinking Abjuration beer. So somebody want to tell us about this second one here?
Ooh, so fun. So fun. So I wanted to make a different beer. And then I was told, oh, no, let's do this version. And I was like, oh, yes. But I still want to do that other version. But this one is black cherry on a crisp, citrusy soda body. If Dave
That's
would.
about right. Yeah.
Okay,
We can
thank
leave
you.
it- we can leave that there.
Right, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I tiptoed through the tulips.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else really to say about it. It's yeah, it is what it is.
Just a little bit tart, a little bit sweet. The sweetness is a little bit higher on this one than some of our other sour beers of the same iteration, but I think it pairs really nice with the fruitiness and the tartness. It's a real lip smacker, brings you right back to it.
Yeah, you guys have been fucking around doing both soda, soda sours.
We have been indeed fucking around,
yeah.
Steve.
Well,
I'm
a technical
down.
term. A
It's-
couple soda
yeah, it's
sours,
a very technical term. Fucking around. They've been fucking around making soda sours, and they've been making candy sours. And we talked earlier about how you guys love to start with a base and then make iterations and changes. This is kind of a culmination of, I guess, both your sodas and your candied slushies coming together. Because
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of arts in that way.
Yeah, I mean, like the Candied series, we just kind of that's where we put our slushies and that stuff. So,
Yeah.
It's being like wildly labor intensive randomly, but then not other times. It depends what you use.
Yeah. And you guys definitely do a really good job at replicating the flavors you're going for. Of recent memory that like I've had this year down here, your original candied slushy, the red cherry one.
yeah.
I mean, that one tastes exactly like a Hills cherry slushy. That's
that
so
one's
nostalgic, and
one's really good.
I'll drink the shit out of that one.
Well, so we wanted to differentiate. So that's one of the reasons why this one's black cherry instead of that other cherry, the maraschino side of the cherry.
Right.
And so this one, I love the black cherry that this brings to it because otherwise it would be that other for sure.
Yeah.
And we already made that this year.
yeah, we did.
And then also you've done like a cream soda sour that I really enjoyed. So
Yeah, it was back when we did our unit testings more often.
Yeah.
And you'll see this come back around again. But right now, it's so much. The cellaring has become, as you drop 2 and 3 beers a week fairly consistently throughout a year, cellaring becomes a beast.
Yeah, it's not just that. Our cooler that we have, I don't know how many beers do we have on right now. We have a bunch of beers right now, and it's a little tiny cooler. It's seriously, it's gonna be the death of me. The climbing in and changing these kegs is out of control.
And we already put racks in. It used to be so much worse before, and so now it's still hell. It just is a more intricate hell.
6x8 and trying to manage 16 taps. It's completely insane.
Oh, for sure.
Need to hire an acrobat to get in there.
It really is. I have no idea.
There's we may have to put a kind of a faux platform that you can set down to walk, to get deeper in. Just we can make out of wood forms and stuff, but that hasn't been demanded yet by corporate.
No,
so.
I never heard of such thing. You just got to climb in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's I, however, cannot climb past a certain point. So at a certain point, it's because you can't disturb the kegs if they're in the cooler.
Right.
So one of the things nobody talks about when they're like, "Hey, open a brewery," is you have to. Sorry, Dave. You have to be mindful about how you move your kegs, and you can't just jostle them, because then they turn into a slurry and they're ruined forever, because sometimes it's not enough material left for it to settle. And nobody tells you those things about running a brewery. They always say it's great, your Instagram is going to be so sweet, bro.
Is that also a way that oxidizes if you jostle it too much or move it too much?
You can definitely steal the nose off it.
Okay.
Well, it'll make it foam. It could make it foam.
Okay.
Yeah. It could also be foamy. And then anytime you essentially let whatever the gas part is agitate the liquid still part, you're going to lose something.
Okay.
A lot of stuff with the push, sometimes you want something to carb up a little bit, right? And so at the very top of a keg has a very narrow orifice if I compare it to 1 pint down. Or maybe 3 pints down, depending on how you work it, if you really like the beer. So then you get a bigger surface area on top for it to push the gas through, just to be fun and nerdy about kegs for folk. But again, no one tells you that. You can't just don't fill your kegs all the way up until the last second, because the way it goes is when you stop seeing the bubbling and everything, when you're filling up kegs, and you go to the next one. So they're all topped off. You know what I mean? Because you don't want really any.
Well, you should top off all your kegs.
Yeah, because you don't want any.
You're trying to nitro it and trying to blast them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you'd want to light fill it, but then you'd have to be lifting it the whole time and just barely catch it. And it's such a pain in the ass. So yeah, but what I'm trying to say is more the cellaring and how you get the beer to the customer has never been more important, and it's been somehow increasing in difficulty the entire time. So it's really unfair to the.
Well, it's the whole approaching the speed of light. The closer you get to the speed of light, the harder it is to actually approach the speed of light.
That's probably the best thing I've ever heard.
So
no, really talking about
and that's what the quality. That's the entire quality across the entire spectrum of breweries is everybody's always trying to approach that speed of light and have the best beer served the best way. I mean, that's why we see so many people buying those Lucre taps, is because they think that's a better way to serve beer. So they want to put it out there, and everybody's just trying to approach that singularity.
Right. Yeah.
Of
having continuous improvement has been something that's just always been our thing. You want to make a better beer. Why? Well, what are you doing here if you don't want to make a better beer?
Why wouldn't you want to?
Someone else wants to make a better beer, so get out of the way. Yeah. But Dave's nodding quietly to that.
Absolutely.
I'll say, so let's get into that a little bit. What are some of the things that you guys have done in, say, the last year to help improve the beer going out?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, but it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, we're drinking a sour now. We make sure we get all the yeast out of it. That's one thing that we maybe weren't doing the entire time. We definitely do that now. Sour wise, they've kind of been the same. I don't know. I'm trying to think of specifics. More stuff with the way we do hoppy beers has changed. Zach has changed a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
one of the things we definitely got to add in was the canning line from Gosling has totally changed how our cans got to the customers. And that's been a thing that's been revolutionary. Yeah. Our cans are much better on shelf than they've ever been, and at a higher quality.
And as somebody who isn't always able to get down here, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because we went from having a product that we wanted to make sure it got sold because we weren't sure if it would be cool 6 months later, and to now no, the product's good and it will stay good the whole time. Yes. And that's another thing Gosling gave us, and the crew that wants to run it. And Dave's takes lead on that with John, and everybody. That whole part of what we've been able to get on the distro to the customer, especially this year, has been a big difference between last year is you can get our
We
beer
did a
now.
lot of growth in packaging, I would say.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that it travels well. I can tell you at least gets down to North Carolina quite nicely.
Right on. Very good. Very good. By Pony Express, of course.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, my nickname is Pony Express now.
Awesome. That's great. No, but seriously, so I would say us getting into your hand has been the big struggle the entire time from the brewery is getting our product to you. We're in McKees Rocks. It's on the other side of the city. It's 3 bridges away. There's rain. There's snow. Not just today. I mean, other days.
Yeah.
You know, frogs. Things happen. Construction.
Yeah.
And
I think that's one of the things that like we've seen, again, the fact that we've been here so much. I mean, not just for the podcast, just because we come here a lot.
Oh, you guys have seen our growth.
Yeah.
absolutely.
We've seen the way you guys grown and,
In real time.
like year one, you didn't have sours like this.
No.
But
I would tell people to go somewhere else. I'd be like, we don't do that here.
yeah.
And now
Yeah,
other
we
people
hated
are
sours
saying,
back then.
come here.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, the way I used to explain it originally was I don't play jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And you're asking somebody who's been playing like classic rock forever. So I understand what jazz is, but I've never played it to make a production level jazz event for you.
Right.
So everything we do has to not just be our attempt to do it. It has to be true to style and good.
Yeah.
Otherwise we get slaughtered. So like us moving into sours was so scary and so tough for us.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to do it. We almost got dragged into it just because we didn't think we could survive not doing it.
Right.
So many other people were doing it, and also just you guys have always had the smaller operation of like not even having the room to like do a fuck around, I'm just gonna dedicate all this space that I need to maybe something that works.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
We've always done crazy adjuncts. You guys.
Oh,
know
yeah,
that,
for
even
sure.
from the
Absolutely,
beginning. But
yeah.
we weren't doing sours, right? But we'd put all kinds of stuff in beer, even back way back
yeah.
from the first year. So the sours, it just made sense,
So I'll give you a real world example. Earlier today, I was on the Pittsburgh beer subreddit.
Whoa.
On the Reddit. It's a thing.
No, I'm saying, whoa. What did you say? Are you okay? You get smacked around on there a little bit, so watch out.
So it was interesting because somebody from out of town was asking, hey, I'm coming into town and my wife likes sours. Where do I go? You guys were like on the top post.
Oh, that's awesome.
You were on that list. Come here.
Oh, it's great.
Get their sours.
Yeah,
so
they're
that's
flying in.
That's a real world data point. You guys are doing something right, specifically in the sour game.
Yeah.
No, that means everything. Like seriously, the fact that people tell other people about us ever has always meant everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things, like, I appreciate your sour game over so many other sours that are out there in a number of ways. One, your sours are nice and clear. It's not fucking gloop glop that
Not
ruins your
always-
glass.
not always.
Not always, but most of the time.
Oh, we've glooped.
We've
definitely
we've had some train wrecks on the show, not from you guys.
We definitely lean more towards what you're saying, though,
Yeah.
for sure. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes we're trying to gloop. So,
Full disclosure. You just got a gloop.
so
I believe it was one or two of the soda sours were a little gloopy and made a little bit of a mess. But it didn't go into my own glass at home, so I didn't have to worry about cleaning it. But I mean, the one we're drinking tonight, it's very nice and clear. And then the other thing I always like about your sours is they're not too sour. You get a nice
They can be.
tartness. Yeah, you get a nice tartness.
In the last year, we've done pretty well on taking them off of like ruining the enamel on your teeth that we hit with some of the. We were getting hit with every time we used citrus in a fruit. In the purees, it was doubling down with citric acid
Oh, yeah.
on
Oh,
it, and
the
it was
fruit, yeah, definitely
it was just
adds
punching
acid, yeah.
super hard. And getting that blend in has been something we've really worked on, and we've seen a lot of positive
going back
results.
to what you asked earlier, that's something we've really worked on, try to bring down that sourness. We also added another column on our tap list that says how sour they are, because sometimes I like this really sour beers. Like we did like the botanical sour series, which hasn't been back in quite a while, should come back.
Yeah,
I
we've been
think
busy.
I've been advocating for the botanical sour for forever, but it is one of the more sour beers that we do, but with weird botanicals.
Last time I had to
but-
grind cardamom for like 3 hours. So he's like, "Hey, let's do a botanical." And
that
it's
one
like,
didn't turn out
okay.
too good though. Cardamon's kind of weird.
Well, at least you got the cardamom, which was fine.
Yeah,
Like if
cardamon's
you miss the spice and the expression is worse than like not necessarily hitting everyone's favorite palate. Because and that was hard to show up because by itself, when you do masala chai is like in a blend and it's like they're all there and they play together and they accentuate each other. But when you do just one, sometimes it's like really gnarly to get those to pop. I had trouble with basil once and ended up, I think it had fennel in it. as like, because I thought it was just buying like dried basil. I think I got the wrong product at the store. And then you go live with the beer and you're like, I know it tastes like, tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the F happened? And I'm really angry about it to this day. And the
I think it
purveyor,
was just basil, man.
yeah, right. No, because basil could just be like gamey basil. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, sometimes basil is really like peppery and sharp, and dried might have been more like I've only really had fresh basil. Because my stepmom used to have fresh basil on the counter whenever she used basil, she's Italian. And so I didn't really have dried basil through most of my life. So I'm thinking basil tastes like something the dried doesn't. So that'd be an error on my part. So, and we have to use all the ingredients. We normally make little teas and stuff and figure stuff out back of house to like, dance through the ingredients to like see, okay, this is what this tastes like when it's expressed, because some things just don't go together. And you think they would. And then you're like, especially like chocolate and acid goes butyric, and then nobody wants to drink that.
So is there any recent examples of things that you've tried to put together that just didn't work?
Well, chocolate's tough. Like we did do last Valentine's Day, we did the chocolate cherry sour, and chocolate is tough. As soon as you get sour with it, it's very pukey.
Yeah, that's what butyric is like pukey acid, and nobody wants to go down that road.
Right.
So it's like, but the British make a different kind of chocolate, and it's like, but then as soon as you start using the other acids, it all messes it up, and it gets into science talk, but and that way, so we have to be really mindful about the ingredients we use too, with like, because you can't make the beers again.
Yeah.
We don't normally dump beers, so we've done a pretty good job of like essentially setting the stage for with the iterations to always make confident steps.
If we've dumped a few. We use we have the 1 barrels, so like if there's something we think is going to be a problem, we'll you know what I mean. We'll do it over there.
Make it a small problem.
Yeah, but I mean, we do a lot of just sampling of stuff and like measuring it out and putting it in and see what it would do, and then add it that way. So we pretty much know how to add ingredients and not screw it up, although we still don't always get it right. But
we've lost,
especially peppers. Peppers are definitely like the chocolate pepper stout that's on right now. You guys know that one is like, people are like angry with us because it's like not really hot and we put dragon's breath peppers in it. But peppers are a weird thing. Yeah. Sometimes they're really hot and sometimes they're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're an agricultural product. Right. So,
and that'll, that's pepper to pepper from the same plant.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. It's like 1 in every 10 jalapenos. One of them's going to fucking burn your ass.
Oh yeah.
But like,
and for us, we're always going for that pineability too. So I mean, I want you to get the heat by the time you're done. And like Dave was saying, you drink a pint of this, you'll know the next day.
Oh, you're gonna know.
There's some pepper wreckage going on. You know what I mean? So
the old sting ring.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just go out, have good Tex-Mex with it. Just blame everybody. See what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pair it up with some Thai food or some mole.
Yeah, in that way, it's definitely more of a mole in that way. So sometimes we go bounce between the two edges, but they're always good edges to be bouncing between. So I don't know. I like that beer.
Yeah. See, that's good
we're not
intel,
drinking
because I got one sitting in the fridge right now. Yeah. So now I know I kind of have to.
Now you go.
You do have one of the chocolate pepper stouts in the fridge?
I've got one sitting in the fridge right now.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's definitely leans more. This year's definitely leans a little more chocolatey, but you'll know. You drink a pint of it, you'll know. There's some.
I don't need to hate myself.
It shouldn't be a practical joke. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
We've had those beers on the show before.
We've brewed those beers. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah.
What are you talking about? You're talking to the guys who did the Carolina Reaper stouts.
I know. I was there.
Yeah.
I had to clean the equipment afterwards.
The year that we did the Carolina Reapers, but they were dried Reapers, they were completely brutal. So I think maybe that's what we might have spoiled people, because I think they were looking for that.
Yep.
Like some people are just savage with heat. They just want to be just punched.
It's the subgroups.
Yeah.
So we have all these subgroups in beer, and we made a beer that was blueberry. It was freeze dried blueberry in an IPA, and it didn't have any parents. Is it a great beer? Absolutely. I wanted to drink a ton of it. If somebody blindfolded me, I said, "This is a great. This is the new thing." Right. But the people that like fruited beers didn't have enough for people like it was too hoppy, and stuff like that. And then on the other side, it wasn't a sour beer, so they didn't want it. And it didn't have any parents, in that same way. Some of these beers we want to make, but no one's going to care.
No one champions them.
Yeah. Right. We'd love to do fruited IPAs, but they get. Well, I mean, that was a weird one to start with. Mango, citro would go over a lot better.
A little bit. Yeah, right.
Mosaic blueberry, probably.
Yeah. But golly, I liked it. But again, we don't make beers for ourselves. I got in a conversation with one of the many customers at the bar. Like, what's your favorite beer? I'm like, it really doesn't matter. I'm just the one we released today. Like that's not an answer. I'm like, oh well, is this some kind of like a take me to your leader kind of thing? Like,
Yeah.
Like, are you going to put me in prison if I don't tell you the answer of what is my favorite beer? Truthfully,
Plus, you guys' tap list rolls over so many times a year. Like,
oh gosh,
the one that might actually be your favorite probably isn't even up there.
New England, Norwegian Farmhouse was my favorite.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah, I just went to my dad's house a couple of weeks ago, and I brought one with, and because we want to take pictures when we're on vacation, and I got to have it with him, and he thought it was an IPA.
Oh.
Because it was so juicy and so like just literally citrusy from the spruce tips we put in it. And he was like, "Are you sure this is an IPA?" I'm like, "I'm very sure this is an IPA." And I was like, I do this. But he's definitely, he's a hard baller. You know what I mean? He doesn't throw soft pitches. And he was like, "This is really good." I was like, yeah. So it was really nice to be able to share my favorite beer of the year with my dad this year. So at his new house. And I brought my dog.
It was a good day.
Yeah, my girlfriend was there. Everyone was happy.
I just want to jump back to what we're talking about as far as like the way you guys have expanded. We obviously talked about how the sour program came in to be. And like I would say probably this year, like the hallmark of what your growth has been is like, one, you have the beer garden that everybody can sit out in. It has nice signage. Everybody can drive past. Because I mean, honestly, if you didn't know this place was here, it was a little bit hard, but now you have that great big sign that stands right at the beer garden.
You'd be amazed. We still get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, it is 20 feet long.
Yeah.
By 10 feet high. Are you ready to be served a beer? Because there's some tests we could go through. Like, can you watch my pinky? Back and forth, left or right. The artist, Dave, do you know his name that did that for us?
Yeah.
Nope, sorry about that one. No. He's a good fellow.
Anthony. That's all I know is his first name. Anthony Purcell, whatever.
Good job.
Like, yeah.
Yep, you tried. Well done. So
We can dub that in.
Authentic signs on Instagram, I believe is.
Oh, okay. There you go.
done. Authentic signs on Instagram. Authentic signs on Instagram. Yeah. Well done, Authentic signs on Instagram.
He's awesome.
So proud of you, Dave.
So you guys had that, and then I think the other half of your growth this year is obviously distribution. We're talking about different places you get it, and like one of the big ones that's for Adam and I is like up at Creekside. I mean, we go to Creekside all the time, so.
I'm actually surprised.
I mean, they've been. It's been a great spot for us, honestly. So.
They've been definitely, I would say, the leader of all of our great distro partners because we have so many good distro partners. We've been at Heartwood now for a good bit. We've been in the heart of Lawrenceville at both Arsenal and Beerport for a while now.
Nice.
You can definitely Hampton has been picking up our stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Last couple months, Howells, we're back at Howells, everybody.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So try not to leave anybody out here. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Because Beerport, sorry, I was going to say Heartwood is actually Heartwood and Beertown. So we're at two different locations. We only drop off once there. So we're definitely getting around. We did some Colonial. Might do some Colonial again in the future. We'll see what's up.
Plus, you guys are still down at Mike's Beer Bar, correct?
And Mike's all the
at Mike's, yeah.
I'm gonna have to hug him and apologize.
Thank you.
Dear God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mike. I'm so sorry. I'm just so very personally sorry to that guy. You want to talk about somebody who literally put his foot in the door. Like you're talking about like a salesperson.
Oh, for sure.
He was just buying them as much as he could buy out of his own pocket, take it to his bar, sell them. And because his staff loved it. And then eventually, we're like, hey, dude, we'll just sell you beer. Because we just didn't have it for a long time. And
Mike made us love him. I mean,
he's a really good guy.
He's easy to love. So
we get to choose who we work with. Dude. Year 5, we get to choose who we work with, and I'm happy to work with Mike.
Yeah,
he's a real stand-up guy, and it's a great location for us to have our beers on, right next to the ballpark. I could not be happier. Obviously,
that's a great spot.
So we've talked about how you've grown to this point. Do you have any wishes or any things you want to put into the ether growing for the future? What do you think is next? Maybe.
I would say right now we're working on like what we consider this is almost the 1.0 for Abjuration. This is what we wanted to open with. This is within the realms of insanity. Our wildest dreams, we're just a little late on them. That's all. We're getting to them as we go. It just took, everything, COVID, said the word. All right. Really, really slowed a lot of things down, but got in the way in a good way. We wouldn't have certain advantages if we'd not gone through that. So it wasn't all bad. I mean, in that way, and nobody wants to say anything good came out of COVID because you just be immediately burned, right? Like, burn him. But our customers doubled down on us. They told us we loved us. Like it made a stronger culture and fan base for us, and we were able to move forward with their being here. And so when you see those same faces, they know why you're here because they bought your beer. So we always wanted to have that local. Like, we don't want to be a reason why you lost your parking space. Right. We're really here. People from Brighton Heights come over. They're like, there's been a brewer here the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, when'd you move here? 2091 or whatever. 1991. Got my hundreds wrong. Sorry.
Got my hundreds and my thousands called.
I've seen it once. I've seen it 1,000
I blame my own
times.
products for that. So.
Yeah, you're off by like 15 years or something.
Dave, do you have any hopes, or you just kind of happy with where you're at? You're ready to slow down?
I mean, I think Tom kind of summed it up there. Like, if we're looking to it, like Tom said, this is version 1.0. We're not leaving this spot at all. We love this, but obviously we would like to have a bigger spot. I think we've said that probably before on the.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Not, yeah. I don't. The last one I don't really remember, so I would have just assumed that we said it, although we might. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, but at this point, we're looking at we got to raise capital, do the thing still. So it's always in that nascent. There's so many conversations up there, but it's weird too because even though we have a brewery, we still want to open a brewery. And to a lot of people, when you see them online when they're talking, like, how do I open a brewery? Like, yeah, how do you open your other brewery? Is what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And that's a whole other. We always said back in the day, you climb up the mountain and you get to the top of the mountain, and now there's a dojo, and you fight to the death. Yeah. So we're 5 years into fighting to the death, and we're still standing here. So, hey, let's keep doing it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I think from anybody who's looking from the outside in, everything we've talked about tonight between, you have the beer garden, the distro, you have like a head brewer that you can trust. That is like taking things over, and as well as also adding to what you have going on here.
Yeah. Chasing and challenging.
It could, it could be. I mean, it could be very easy for you guys to just sit back on your laurels. So that's why I was asking if is that the plan, or you still want to go big?
No, we're unfortunately in a 10% inflationary period, but we are going to fight as hard as we damn can.
Right on.
So everybody who's a fan of ours at home, know we are worried about it just as much as you are, and we want to we want to be in your refrigerator. Mm-hmm. That's always been the goal for people to drink our product and then tell us what they want to make and be in their refrigerator.
Yeah, obviously we want to expand it. We want to be smart about it. So
we've seen a lot of breweries not move forward, or they lose their fire, or all the different things that changes and permeates what they're up to. And I think if anything, I'm not wrapping up because we still have another beer to go, but still humbled when people say that they're your favorite brewery, or they want to buy your merch, or they want a sticker. I mean, just to be cool to be on somebody's fridge. Yeah. Or out when we went out to Asheville this summer, and I was like, got me right here. I'm right there. And I'm like, it's like 20 stickers on this wall. It's not even bad.
I know these guys.
Exactly right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, that's great though. But they want to be in your fridge, but not too long. They get very mad if you hold on to their beers too long.
Seriously, drink beer. Don't hoard beer. You're not a dragon, for God's sakes. You're a warrior. Warriors drink beer. Dragons hoard beer.
But all right, speaking of beer, let's come back to the one we didn't actually talk too much about at the top of the segment, but we'll talk about it now. We had the black cherry, candied sour slushy. Again, I mentioned it in the segment that like this one's very clear, and it had that nice red tinge to it. You could tell that it's going to be some sort of cherry or pomegranate or something. You're ready for red fruits. On the nose, though, it was a little bit sour and a little bit mellow yellowy, not mountainous dewish.
Guilty.
Mountain lightning.
I would possibly agree with that.
Yeah. So like you get a little bit of citrus notes on the nose. And then my favorite part is tasting it, because cherry is always it's one of those ones that can go so bad so easy on so many people. And if it goes bad, it comes out tasting like shit ass Robitussin.
This does not.
Not at all. This tastes like black cherry soda pop. And so it's really enjoyable, and it differentiates itself from that other release you have, which is the Hills fucking Slushy, which I also love.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. It's nice that you get to see what we do too, because like, I mean, you can't drink every beer made in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I mean, do your best, gentlemen. Yeah, we got faith in you.
Good.
We listen at home.
My liver ain't for it.
right. But in that way, it's really cool. You get to see what we were going for on that beer. So that it's almost serendipitous for us just to be able to say, hey, this isn't that, and we're trying to do something else. So it's nice you get to see it.
Yeah, it totally works. It's sweet. Be prepared for that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with sweet. Yeah. And it has a little bit of that tartness, and the cherry doesn't taste like medicine. That's all you need to do for cherry beer for me. Don't taste like medicine.
Put it in the win column.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting to have a red tongue when I'm done with this.
Yeah, right.
It just feels like it's got that vibe going. And I agree with everything that Steve said. It doesn't have that medicine-y taste. It's still got that sody pop flair to it. It's just another winner from you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
there'll be more coming in that too. So it's just,
okay.
There's a lot more of those kind of beers that we it's not, I wouldn't say we argue necessarily, but we definitely all want to get different products out still. So even after so many hundred beers, the next week is still kind of like, okay, what are we doing? What are we like? All right, no, this, no, not that. So
can't sit on your laurels.
Yeah. All right.
We just have to care every day.
Yeah. All right. So now's the part of the show where I inject something into your ears and see if I can get it made.
Nice.
I think I've done it every episode we've done here, and I've tried to trick you guys into making something. But there was a beer that Log Yard made, and they just don't seem to make it anymore. It was that birch beer.
Yes.
They don't seem to make it anymore. And so I want to see if I can get you guys to possibly make a candy soda sour of a birch beer.
I've talked about birching and sprucing.
Well, we could do it, but I don't think we can use actual birch.
I want to do that. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
So I want to take the bark and you put it
level,
into the one barrel and you essentially make a tea with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do that.
I mean, that's one.
That's
yeah,
you
that's
got to
one
be
thing.
dangerous. That stuff can be dangerous.
Well, he's worried about the wood prohibitions and certain things.
Right, yeah.
But some words are good, some words are bad.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't want rubbing alcohol going in your body. But,
No, right.
but specifically spruce and birch don't do that. That's why they use those woods. So I went down the rabbit hole on it, and I was looking at one of the reasons the Norwegians would drink those kind of beverages because they're high in vitamin C. Yeah, so birch beers and
Spruce I knew, but I didn't know birch beer.
Yeah, they're both higher in vitamin C. So they're like the table beverages when you're not being an alcoholic drinker.
Right.
They would also make the teas to drink throughout the early Americas. So that was fun to look at,
Yeah, we
whenever
definitely-
you get grabbed by the,
Yeah, we definitely did an episode about like spruce beers and spruce teas and how all that was like early French Canadians
Yeah.
that would make like the vitamin C. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, fought their scurvy. It was, it was amazing because you think, because you're like, there obviously weren't bananas in the New World in 1750, right? How did people just
Well,
not
they were.
die?
They were just south.
No, they were.
They weren't in Montreal.
Right, yeah, they were in their house, right? And like, how did they survive without lemons and limes and oranges and like just citrus products in general that we take for granted so immaculately? Because they were using trees. Can you imagine people running off into the bushes and getting like the fresh tree ends, right? Because you want to get it when it's sprigs,
Right. Yeah.
right? And then going home and then boiling a big thing of it, and everybody's like, "Yay, we get more water today. We're not dehydrated later." It's just so wacky.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I put my little earworm in, and we'll see if we can.
I think birch does make sense we can pull that one off. I think we'll see. Not actual birch bark, but
Yeah, you know
we'll
me.
see.
You get one for the botanicals, one for the sour soda sour.
There you go.
See what we can
Me
do.
likey.
Right.
Me likey.
But all right, with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. We'll have the third beer, the one that we've been teasing,
Very special beer.
it's part of the 5th anniversary here at Abjuration. So stay tuned for that, and we're going to play a little game with Dave and Tom.
Oh, geez, awesome.
Yes. So we'll be right back.
You know what pairs nicely with a good beer? A bad movie. And that's exactly what we do at Hops and Box Office Flops, the internet's premier podcast dedicated to reviewing bad movies and mostly good beers. So join us on a hop-fueled excursion through some of Hollywood's biggest bombs.
We've covered everything from the fungus-laden streets of Dino Hatton with the Super Mario Brothers to the oddly horny felines of Cats 2019.
You can find our show on any of your finest podcast providers.
And follow us on social media at Hops and BO Flops. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll drink your face off.
Welcome back to episode 271 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. And we're here still with Abjuration, still drinking Abjuration beers. It's still Steve and Adam with Tom and Dave settling into the nice comfy chairs that we pilfered.
This feels like an FDR fireside chat.
Yeah.
Starting in.
Oh, right on.
Starting in.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's not a bad vibe at all.
You like that?
Well, I think to go right along with that vibe is the beer that we'll be drinking next. And so whoever wants to introduce this one, go on right ahead.
I'll introduce it.
Yeah, the
I
boozy
guess.
boy.
So this is our first barrel aged beer. That's actually not completely true. We did do a rye beer at one point in one, I think like year 2. But so this is a Imperial Stout aged in Willet bourbon barrels, and the Willet bourbon barrels were 8-year. So yeah, that's it. Totally, there's no adjuncts, no nothing. Just straight up Imperial Stout aged in Willet bourbon barrels.
And what's the intended ABV?
The ABV of this beer is 11.3%.
Okie dokie.
Oh, yeah.
It bringeth the thunder. We were thinking about having fun with it because we always want to try stuff, and we universally agreed to let it roll.
I like it.
No, as soon as we tasted it, we said, I think we'd just let it ride like this. And, hopefully this will open up avenues for us to do more stuff like this. And then we'll start playing.
Then do the goof ones.
Then do the goofy shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do like to land on the moon first.
Yeah.
Walk around a little bit, take the pictures, do the thing, put the flag on it, go home.
Then you can go play golf.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah.
Then
Then the
you-
rover later, way later.
Then year 6, you get the coconut one. And then
Oh, you're feeling me right now. Oh, German-free chocolate.
I'm not hack guys.
I mean, I think we felt it was complex enough too that can kind of just hold up on its own. But
Yeah, I love the pairing of
but
the heat
we're
versus-
this is it's not fully carbed right now. It's probably still needs about 2 or 3 psi. Although I kind of like where it's at right now. And so we obviously tried it like flat, but this is the first time trying it with carbonation. So
Okay.
So this is a sneak preview.
this
Yeah.
is a sneak preview.
Yeah, I mean,
So
first
I
for
hope
us
you
too,
guys like
so.
it, and if you don't say it on the podcast. No, I'm totally.
Just give us the finger
I'm
or
totally
something.
kidding.
Yeah.
We'll just walk out of here, close the laptop.
But yeah, full disclosure, we are drinking it, like 11 days early. So
Yeah.
yeah. It could turn a little differently, but I don't think too much differently. And I like where it's at as well.
Yes, especially on the nose. I haven't drank it yet, but just on the nose, yeah, it's
it's
hitting
delicious.
everything.
On the
just
nose is a lot of barrel.
Yes.
There's a lot of barrel on the nose. But yeah, after drinking it, it's not as hot as the nose suggests.
Yeah.
But it does have like a nice complex chocolate back end after all the barrel heat subsides. You get a lot of chocolate on the back end. So yeah. Yep. I'm here for it.
It is a little hot, but maybe it should be a little bit hot, right? And so
This is a boom for our barrel age. We went hot on purpose in that way to bring it in, but I think
but also it should age nicely in a bottle.
yeah,
Right.
it's,
I think
it's not fusily boozy.
no
For sure,
no,
for
no.
those at home that they're worried about, the fusile note of like alcohol in the nose. You don't really get a spice note of alcohol on it, and it does linger. I mean, you definitely get it sticks around for a second. Is what I mean. You definitely get that full, like you said, a lot of barrel on the nose, a lot of barrel in the mouth feel.
Yeah.
Like all around. I mean, like the barrel that's in this. If you like that kind of whiskey,
So
or bourbon.
you said that this would age well in the bottle. Is this something that will be available in bottles at the 5th anniversary?
Oh yeah,
as well?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So I'm sorry to make that clear. Yeah, we're bottling this for the anniversary.
Okay.
Waxed too.
And
First waxing.
we're gonna yes, first time we did wax.
Yay,
wax.
You can't see it, but Dave's making the jerk off hand motion.
So if you want to be a one-day intern, go down to Abjuration.
Sure. Yeah. Everybody wants to make cool taffy beers till you got to peel the taffy.
This sounds like a job for Bigfoot Benjamin.
Yeah.
It's really scary though. Like when we were, Dave had the the big tubey thing with the CO2 that goes in to shoot it out, like a kind of like you make a stave.
Tubey thing.
Yeah, big tubey thing. It goes inside
that's a streaming
of inside of the barrel, right? And so it works almost sort of like you're adding a stave system to the beer, like if you're looking at a keg, right? So it has like essentially it pushes down on it and then it goes up the hole, kind of like a keg does. Just it's in your hand and it's a solid unit. And so Dave's on it. He's giving
He's
it
talking about the bulldog that
the bulldog. That's what they call it.
that
Yeah,
pushes and pulls them out of the out of the.
And so it got a
barrels.
full on wrestle. I think we this beer got a decent bit of wrestle to get it into the
That was fun.
fermenter.
That was fun. I would say
It's our first time, so it was really neat to see it go
yeah.
down. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, if you would ask like the fun things that we've done brewing that we have not done for, we've played with barrels, but we never got to do the full like bulldog fun thing.
Yeah,
It was cool.
And it was all right.
cool.
You know, I'm just trying to burp the line. That's what pretty much all I have to do. And the professionals aren't either end of it. I'm like in the middle, like, okay, what? What do I do? It worked out real well.
I need an adult.
Yeah, well, because you can't. I mean, it just takes some hands to do certain things. So I don't know. I was happy to be a part of it. Also, I mean, man, this is a tasty beer.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm pairing it with the Schwartz beer to back myself up. 'Cause I just got a little tiny dram of it.
Yeah.
I'll say I am glad that you guys didn't futz with this and just left it as is.
Yeah.
I think it's just right.
Yeah, I think it's going to stand out really well just by itself. And like you said, it'll age well in bottles. So like, come down, try it now because it's good now and it is complex.
I think it is very tasty now. Yeah, but I think 6 months on it.
Yeah,
it's gonna caramel up a little bit. It's gonna lose a little bit of that bite. Still gonna be delicious.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we've noticed a lot, and it's like something we're critical of a lot of beers. They come out and they're like hot. And like they're way too hot. Like we had a beer that was only like an 8% beer. And it was like the hottest, gasoliniest fucking beer we've ever had. But like you're telling us this one is, it's 11% and we're having it early. So it's not even,
it's raw.
It's still more raw than it will be. But I mean, even now it's not too hot. Like you get a little bit of that alcohol burn up front, but it definitely mellows out into a really nice chocolatey flavor. Yep. And then I'll tell you, the burp ups has more chocolate. So like, I think
almost fudgy. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the chocolate is just really pronounced in it to me, and I'm super. I couldn't be happier with this beer.
Yeah.
As far as like the program we're working on, I want to do even more. Of this
what I will say though, which is really weird, me, Tom, and Zach are pretty much who kind of direct where the beers go. I mean, but John definitely does too, but we are not big barrel aged beer drinkers. So we definitely know them, but
it's not your search out.
Yeah. So it's I can't wait to see what people think of it just because of that. Like I don't know what to expect.
Like our Vivid Alchemy was, and again, a similar way. We made a fruit wine. We did 9%, and it was a little bit drier, sort of like this, and had a lot of grapefruit presence. And the people they don't seem to know what it is. So in that way, in this way, we at least hopefully think it's going to go in a little more predictable trajectory.
Yeah, that's definitely good. So the problem with the Vivid Alchemy was you use champagne yeast, so it's always kind of polarizing.
That sounds a bit like Dogfish Head. They did that Fortful or what the fuck ever it was. It's like it was like an 18% like wine fruit. Fucking
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't think they make it too much
anymore.
Again. Yeah, I don't think they make it too much anymore. I think it was far more polarizing.
We're gonna continue to push that boundary in that way, but
we're definitely not done with that series either.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a matter of time. We like to sell them before we make the new ones or have it trail off
sort
into
of
the other.
sour wine hybrid. If like we're going to talk about things like I want to learn as a producer of alcohol, like I'm really starting to look at understanding some wine stuff.
Yeah.
Just to help produce some of like higher ABV sours. I think there's some crossover there. So
I've had a little bit of that. My family always made fruit wines and stuff in the house. So I'm very familiar with the basics. But my step parents are Italian. They used to make table wines and stuff. So they're sort of like,
table wine, limoncello.
I definitely think I mean, at the end of Abjuration, we're at year 5, in year 15 or 20, would we have a distillery or a winery, a cidery, and everything else. I'm like, well, I don't want to be told I can't do something.
Yeah.
So if it's like $2,000, I'll probably, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, do a bake sale or something twice and then get the money.
Abjuration the meadery, abjuration the distillery, abjuration the lunchbox.
I just, yeah, like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I like where you're going with that. Yeah, no, specifically, but it's once you're doing a thing, you want to know what happens when you do it, and so do all your friends. So I don't know, like we get a lot of times, why don't you make a cider or why don't you make a mead? And we're like, because they like our fruited sours lean so fully in that direction.
Just like the brewery, like we just iteration everything to keep learning. I have to keep my brain learning.
Yeah. But I mean, plus you guys also incorporate a lot of honey into your beers as well.
We do. I think there's a lot of things we can learn from that style of alcohol production.
So I don't mead doesn't sound out of the realm.
It's almost like the confectionery versus being a baker, right? So it's all the same things you're doing, but in one you make like a 3-layered cake with tears all over it, and the other one you just make a rye loaf of bread. You know, and both could be amazing depending on how you do it.
Right.
But and it's all the same art, but it's just different ends of the same art. That's how I view all the different cideries and meaderies. Like we're using, yeast and
it's all yeast and it's all fruits and it's all things getting fermented.
What branch of the tree do you want to go down?
Yeah.
I mean, distilling's explosive. That's the only problem, I guess. So.
Yeah. Can be dangerous. But
collab.
Well, with that, everybody come down for the 5th anniversary, check out this beer. But in the meantime, we're going to play a game. So, Adam, what have you prepared for everybody?
We are going to play a game. It's a nice little game we've played on here before. And there are no losers on this one because we are going to play Nobody Asked You.
Awesome.
And that is a game where we steal questions from the internet that nobody asked us in particular, but we're going to answer them anyways. So this one is a little bit different because I'm going to ask you in 2 different facets. I'm going to ask you as it from a business owner standpoint and from a beer drinker standpoint.
Oh boy.
That's awesome. That's so much better.
Kind of a 2-parter.
Yeah. No, I love it. Thank
you.
you.
Can approach it professionally and personally.
And I will be answering as a podcaster.
No, but that really helps too, because like there's a lot of difference between those 2 things. It really helps. Thank you.
So, and Steve, you can just say Patreon, and you'll be good.
Nice.
That way you can cover the podcast side of things. So, the first question, and this comes from Firm Salamander off of the beer subreddit. They ask, what do you think of an app that lets you know if people at a bar or brewery are open to interaction or not? Sort of like when you go to the Brazilian steakhouse, you flip the paddle one way or another.
I'm ready to rock on this. I think Dave will knock this out of the park too.
I'm a little confused exactly what the question is.
Let me give my answer. I think you'll figure it out.
Okay.
We want to be both here, and I want both of me's to say both here. I think the best part about a brewery is it isn't you drinking at home. And I think if you don't want to be interactive, then someone should respect your space.
Agreed.
Because we have a lot of people here on laptops or bringing a book or having their own time. But in a normal social, they're trying to be out of it. So you say, hello, what are you drinking? You know what I mean? I would expect them to be like, oh, yes, blah, 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 so-and-so. And like everyone uses norms. But we definitely want to be the place where you go and have a beer and have a conversation. We talk to almost everyone we can still. Now we're showing people the back of house again.
Right.
Doing the brewery tours.
I mean, I think it also depends on the day of the week it is.
Well, if it's slammed in Friday, it's really hard to be too personable.
Right.
Because you got like 18 people in line. But on Tuesday night, Monday night, for sure.
Have a nice conversation.
Or Saturday afternoon.
Can I hold on? I just want to get some clarification because I think Tom's saying from the side of like people, like customers talking to him.
Right. I'm talking customer to customer.
Yeah, I'm saying I want it to be a raucous, like, signing of the independence kind of moment where everybody's just talking and, hanging out and being people together. That's what I meant about what I think Dave would agree with is you've always thought breweries were for people to get together.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's what the original ale houses were for.
And that's
absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, we need more people just talking face to face and not talking to each other on social media.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And he thinks a brewery is a good point for that because then you get a little bit.
I think breweries have a responsibility in that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the original point of the ale houses, and the ale houses were supposed to be your third place.
Yes.
Because you had work and you had home, and to detach from both of those, you went to your third place. And that's where you met and talked with people. You learned about politics or whatever. So
You talk to your community, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of like that app, but for whatever reason, it triggered some dumb shit in my brain.
That sounds about right.
That's what I thought immediately, too.
Yeah, it made me think of like there's those parties that people have in like their 20s.
They put keys in a bowl?
Not a key party, Tom.
Oh, okay,
not
I'm
a
sorry.
key party.
Sorry about that. Sorry. I have a bad past.
It's not too far off though. But there's a party where you dress in red, yellow, or green.
Oh yes,
And so-
stoplight party.
Yeah, so stoplight party. So you show up, and if you're wearing green, that means you're good to go.
Oh, golly.
You know, if you're wearing yellow, you're open. And if you're wearing red, it means you're taken, but you're willing. Yeah, I mean, you can still talk to people.
Right, I'm a human being.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. But, you know,
It's
it
not
just.
a meat suit for you to have your pleasures with.
But it's just
Right,
like people's
yeah.
intentions.
No, but seriously, like that, well, because so many people are just like, I don't know, they get the whole wrong idea. I think it's totally okay to, be in space with each other. And the safety culture is a real problem sometimes. And we're coming back out of that with COVID. This is not the direction you thought I was going with it.
Not at all.
So
I'm here for it.
As we're coming back out of being stuck in our houses together, everyone's timid. Everyone wants to know, what are the new norms? What are the new laws? What do we look like as we come out of the great stop? Right? The Thanos snap of our real times was turning everything off and hiding in our houses for fear of death or whatever, or just not being allowed to go out by whatever law, depending on how you thought about it. And we're still trying to figure it out. And so I think in that way, I think you see where I'm going here. So I think in that way, those parties are good in that way, because anything which enables people to go out and enjoy their space is a good.
Yeah.
Right. So in that way, we have a beer. You come in, our tap room is representative of everyone is welcome. As soon as you walk in, when you see a beer that is of the style that you like, you feel welcome. And so in that way, the greater plenitude of beers we can have on for all the people, the more they all feel welcome. And I really hated back in the day telling someone that we don't make sour beers, because it meant that I didn't want them to be in our space. They might as well tell them to go home, and that hurt. And I didn't like that, and they didn't like it.
Unfortunately, that is no longer a problem.
It's not a problem anymore.
No, absolutely. So that was not going the way you all thought.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But yeah, I think with that app though, like people can put up like signals of like what they want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's true.
They could be like, I'm willing to talk sports with you. I'm willing to talk beer with you.
I like that idea where you can
I see what
kind
you're
of
saying.
curate a little bit.
Right. That way you don't have some jag who just wants to talk fucking politics with you
Right.
coming up to you. Like, no, that's not where this conversation is. We can talk D&D. We can talk video games. We can talk horror movies. We can talk these things.
Yeah. So
And then you go,
Is this actually an app, or is this someone
that's
just
what,
saying?
it's just an idea somebody had, but I'm improving upon it right now, real time.
Patent pending.
Yeah. So we just have to find a different app developer.
I feel
we
like
get
younger
10%.
generations will love stuff like this.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Because I mean,
Well,
if
they
they
want
can,
that safe mode where they don't have to worry about negative interactions.
exactly, and that's
They're
why
just so
that's
put
why
off
you
by
put
it.
that's why you put the tags on it.
Yeah.
Of like, this is what we can talk about, and these are the interests.
Imagine making such a toxic world that like you've been growing up in it. Because we're talking about people a little bit younger than us. And they're just like, wow, you know what? I'm not even going to try if it's going to be bad. You know what I mean? So, and I think in that way,
It happens.
we have to encourage everybody to come back out. You know what I mean? Be a good place. Be a safe place. Be shown as a safe place. You don't have to brag about it. Just keep being it, and
Yeah.
everyone will feel safer.
Oh yeah,
So this one, because we already kind of covered this in the first segment, so I'm only going to ask this from a personal standpoint as a beer drinker. Period.
Right.
Okay.
What do you think of brewery collabs? Purely from a beer drinker standpoint, not from a business standpoint.
Okay.
But from a beer drinker
From a
standpoint.
beer drinker standpoint, that's simple. It's awesome. Honestly, it is.
Yeah, because you want new beers, you want fresh beers.
Yeah.
Collabs are great.
Yeah, it forces breweries to make new beers. Right?
Yeah.
So from a drinker, that's awesome.
It's always a win for them.
Right? And it normally pushes people out of boundaries too. So I would imagine from someone drinking, like I even saying that you're a certain drinker could be controversial, but I like to drink new stuff. I do. That's why the brewery functions the way that we function. We make new things all the time.
Yeah.
So I like to drink that way. So I think collabs lean into that.
Yeah.
Now, I think there may be. I mean, I think that's the core of a collab, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Right on.
Yeah,
Same. Yeah.
So it's
Otherwise, we'd all be drinking Guinness.
agreed.
Right.
Which okay,
I'm not saying
yeah,
yeah.
is the
I
perfect
could deal
beer.
with that.
I could deal with Guinness.
But I've actually had some conversations with people along these lines, and there are some people out there that think that especially if you team up with a brewery that is very strong in one category, that the other brewery that comes along may have a tendency to hamstring that stronger brewery, and you don't get as strong of a product. There are people out there that have that mindset.
So I think that answer though is more to what you were saying, like that you said to look at it from a consumer standpoint.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. But as a consumer, we once made a collab, and I'll talk as generically as possible. The brewery's no longer in existence, and we wanted to go in a different direction with the beer, and the beer that ended up going out actually hurt us on Untapped, and it wasn't the best product that we thought our customers wanted. But because we were collabing and it was such an important beer, we just said, cool, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's happened to us.
Yeah.
The experience was worth more than what quote unquote blowback you got.
Yeah,
but I think
it
that's
worked out
more
for
of
everybody.
a business thing. But I guess it kind of is a little bit.
Yeah, the customers that had that one collab from us were definitely like, it doesn't have the abjuration effect. And I was like, well, we didn't brew it at our house. So.
Yeah. If the customers had an expectation. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo what happened with you guys, because I don't even remember the beer. But like an example that I think really worked really well is something that we had recently was there's the collab between Mondays and Cellarworks. Is Mondays was able to brew a Tomave Pivo, a dark lager on a system. That it's a lot bigger than what they have.
Oh yeah.
And so that it got it to the.
How big is Mondays?
Well, you're gonna see more of that type of thing in the future of this area's beer,
which is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the brewery scene around here is strong enough that you don't have to worry about that mindset of anybody being hamstrung.
Right.
Sure.
That, the players around here are strong enough that that's not an issue.
Yeah. But with the collab,
and you have great people in this industry that are just going to help people in general.
Yeah. And I mean that's a hallmark of the Pittsburgh area in general. But yeah, I mean with that collab I was talking about, like it was able to introduce Mondays, because it's a very Mondays recipe on a very Cellarworks size. So it was able to get it out to a lot of people in that way. And another collab is like anytime somebody who isn't even completely open yet gets to collab with a brewery that can give them distribution, and like the one that comes to mind automatically is the Fermata Allegheny City that I think it's earlier this year.
We've done this.
Yeah, we did Union Brothers.
We did Union Brothers one day before.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Zach's awesome.
Yeah.
We made a
he actually
peanut
owes
butter
us a
cup.
collab,
Yeah, he
Zach,
does
if
still,
you're
yeah.
listening.
Only, but we're wait till his bigger system is up and running so we can all.
It's up and running, Zach. Give us a call.
Tupperware store.
For real, we did
I talk to Zach all the time. He already knows this. So I feel like he's holding it for like a special thing. Like, come on.
We did a milkshake ale with peanut butter Reese's cups.
Reese's
okay.
cups.
And it was damn good.
Yeah.
Because he came right into it. He was like, it was really fun to work with.
Yeah. We did a full brew day.
Yeah.
And that was still when it was me and you brewing.
Yeah.
Zach wasn't even here.
Oh, no.
The
yeah,
other
it was-
Zach, our brewer,
Right.
not Zach.
Yeah,
Right?
it was
us.
Yeah. But the best part is, I believe it's a moral imperative to grain out when you're the guest. And everyone should agree. Everyone so far we've been around has agreed that that's what you should do.
That's what we've done so far.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that if you don't want to grain out at my place, you didn't actually do
Even
the
though it
collab.
was a bigger system than we really knew what we were doing.
Yeah, at 11th hour, it was super fun. That was great. He was a little trying to figure us out. We're trying to figure him out. And Kerry from Couch was there at the time. He was like the third wheel collab guy, and we had a great time. It was one of the best times we ever had. And we just because we have we all are open within 6 months of each other. We're in that class of kids that came through Pittsburgh, and now you're looking at all the new breweries that are open, and they look to you for certain things when you talk to them, and you're like,
"Oh, I'm the adult now."
yeah, we're at least juniors in the class,
Right.
Like I think we're the plucky junior that they
the
think
third year.
yeah, right. Like they think they can get something from us because we know what the big kids are doing, and they're like, "Hey, what are the big kids doing?" And we're like, "Oh, you don't want to know." We're like, "Oh yeah, I do. It's called work." Oh fuck, no, I'm not doing work. Yeah, all the time, and it's really horrible. Really? Yeah, it's horrible. And then,
Damn it.
Yeah, but it's better than doing anything else.
Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, hey.
We've actually.
I thought we were still playing a game.
Yeah, we were playing a game. One of the things just in the game is we managed to have 3 people go on to permanent jobs since we've been opened in beer. One is working for us now, and then 2 other people went to work on in their own paths. And for the 5 year,
sure, but someone else should bring that up, not you.
They should.
We're not the.
Yeah. But in that way, one of the things you're most proud of in the 5 years, just to sneak it into this part,
sure,
because I missed it, is our staff.
People.
Is our people. And what we try to do to get like player coaching, like making sure people have like every opportunity to follow what they want to do in beer here. We have done our very best and mindfully so to get out of our way.
Abjurationally so.
Yeah.
Say mindful.
But also emotional to, people.
It's hard to lose people.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Right. But they're going on to better things, and you get to hug them later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're still, sticking in the industry. I mean, you'll see them again somewhere.
They'll pop back up.
Yeah. You got another question?
I do have another question.
All right, go for it.
I'm trying to keep us on track, guys. I'm really trying.
So we'll just keep it to 3.
Okay.
Because we've had good conversation
Sure,
here. You've traveled back in time to give yourself beer advice. We'll go back 8 years.
8 years. All right. Good.
What is your advice? And I'm going to ask both from a personal and professional standpoint.
Make us both answer separately.
Yeah, I'm sure in other rooms.
I see, we got-
right? like I'll go first so Dave can formulate his answer. That's the most fair thing I can do because I'm always ready.
We got plenty of tape.
Yeah, right. So 1, I would say open now. Just open with a quarter barrel brewery in a van down by the river. Just start now because we were good enough then. We would have learned it on a fast enough pace, I think, to be in a much better position than we are today. If we were trying to worry about branding a little bit too much, and I would tell myself 8 years ago, be more aggressive because the product is great and have more faith in ourselves. Yeah.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah. And then as a beer drinker?
Stop drinking whiskey.
Okay.
It's 8 years ago. Just be like, don't drink hard liquor ever again. Stop. What's wrong with you? Yeah, that would be my answer for both.
All right.
Okay.
Jameson specifically, just don't do that.
I love Jameson.
So I haven't had hard liquor in a bunch of years.
So we'll turn the mic over.
So I have to answer.
We don't have to.
No. But so business open bigger than we should have, which we actually should have done, but open bigger than we actually opened at. We'd be much further along.
In terms of capacity? Or in terms
Bigger
of
system,
space,
bigger thing.
or-
Bigger
okay.
hole.
Yeah,
Oh, bigger
we
in
should
every
have
direction.
opened with what we have now.
Gotcha.
So we lost even more time from that.
Yeah, that's okay. We learned how to make great beer and learned the industry, but there was definitely a pause for us.
On a personal level, on the beer drinker side.
Beer drinker side,
What if you'd made the first hazy? Oh.
learn hazies.
He only said 8 years. He only said 8 years.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
still got to, that
2.5 years haven't even come out yet. 8 years.
Yeah, that only puts you at 2014. You still got to go back to 2008.
So weirdly,
to beat,
like we
John
would have
Kimmich.
been making.
Oh, is it 08 was the first hazy?
We weirdly would have been.
That was the
making-
first. That was the first heady top beer, I
We
believe.
weirdly
okay.
would
Oh.
have probably been making hazies, but like we thought that was an issue, and we would, tried to get them to clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
We were throwing so much hops at beers. We're like, why can't we get them to look like other people's? And it's because we were gnarly, So it's actually like we were doing 180 kickflips and stuff before we had any idea that other kids weren't doing it.
Yeah. Ollie, what's an
Well,
Ollie?
at the homebrew level, we should have locked on to that flavor profile and ran with it because we would have got better at it, but we didn't. You know what I mean? Because just there wasn't,
Would I have done
You guys
sour
know what I
sooner?
mean.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It wasn't. I mean, 8 years ago was probably about the first time hazy started hitting in our area.
Yeah, I mean,
With any level of
I would argue
consistency.
there was like another type of hazy beer that you were getting like weird West Coast hazy stuff here that was like just super fresh.
Right.
Green Flash.
Yeah, got some the Stone stuff at that time. Like
Right.
even the 8 years is probably not Helltown, but that super early Helltown stuff was like just
Yeah.
juice in a
Also-
glass.
Oh yeah.
but
Good
it
shout out for
wasn't.
Helltown.
But it wasn't. It
like
wasn't no one considered that haze, but it was definitely haze.
Yeah. Nobody was saying New England IPA,
Right.
but there was beers that had haze in them.
Yeah.
And then I would say like 2014 was where you probably started seeing early versions of that, and then 2016 is when it really fucking just came crashing down. And for whatever reason, we adopted the fucking New England attitude. we're gonna have all kinds of.
It's all about branding.
Yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of fucking New England hazy IPAs, kid. How about that?
I'm gonna make Dave happy and not comment. I'm gonna let this one go.
Yep. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
And that's how you play. Nobody asked you.
But wait,
Somebody
hold
claps.
on.
Somebody claps.
My 8 years ago. No, I think I answered this.
You kind of did.
No, we answered. Well, no, I think you asked that on a separate episode.
Did I?
Yeah, because my 8 years ago answer was like, don't drink that CBS.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
CBS burn.
CBS was we bought a CBS and it was too fucking hot, and I drank it the same year, and I was pissed as hell, and and this was even before we found out Founders was racist, but
Right.
like I was like, this
We didn't know.
this beer is so goddamn hot and disgusting. Like, why are you selling it now? I have to cellar this for a whole nother year before it's even good.
Yeah.
And then
because we bought that was December of 2017, and I finally got into mine this summer.
he held his for 5 years.
I have a
Did
really.
it get better?
Oh, way better.
I have an edgy
yeah.
question for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, just to give Dave a pucker
I
moment.
know you just told me you were gonna just be quiet.
So
it's an edgy question for us though. So
where
we'll
do
see.
you guys see national distro beer represented within like the craft palette going? So now you have like so Anheuser-Busch bought up everybody they could,
Right.
and Modelo and everybody else did the thing, right? And they bought all the the big producers of their areas. So now we're back to like local bakeries and Wonder Bread, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the customer is going to do in the next 5 years? Do you think they're going to stick around in craft beer land, or they're going to start drinking Coors Banquet?
I mean, okay. Here's my edgelord hot take of what you brewers. Not specifically you guys, because I actually don't see you guys doing it, but in brewers in general, is you all have to stop fucking promoting hams and Coors and all these fucking macros, because then it says to the customer, why the fuck should I buy your product when you don't even like your product?
You're not drinking it as a primary.
You're drinking this fucking $11 trash.
Right.
Why the fuck should I buy your stuff when you think $11 trash is better?
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I like that. That's fun to think about.
That's simple business. Like if you were a filmmaker,
right.
It's one of the reasons why
it's like pornography of beer.
Yeah,
is the hams or let's just say PBR.
The pornography.
Somebody needs to put that on a t-shirt.
It's not
right. Actually, hams is just going to give me a send a check in the mail.
Yeah.
Like no, but that way it gets the job done, but it's not real love. You know what I mean?
Nobody loves you for that.
But hams doesn't love you.
Yeah. But it's much more. It's actually much more in the league of like. You see Scorsese out there, and he criticizes like how shitty and factory made like Disney movies are.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
And like he's right. Like they're just churned out, and like I'm not saying they're not entertaining, but like if you are a high level filmmaker, why are you going to suck the dick of like the latest Marvel or Star Wars rather than talk about something like The Triangle of Sadness, which is out here at the Parkway Theater Lounge right now?
Yeah. I mean,
so it kind of makes you seem like an asshole to ask people to buy things that, you don't seem to believe in.
Oh, I totally couldn't agree more on that. I've been guilty of having, I go, when I'm at the Pens game, I will get a Labatt's out of the 12 beers that I have available. People will tackle me if I whip one of my own out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying don't drink it. I'm just saying when you look at social media,
oh for sure. Yeah,
how much do you see brewers fucking just pounding hams?
Yeah. We've all been guilty of a hams pound, though.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. But just to go at your analogy for a second, like filmmaking and beer making are not quite the same thing.
No, they're not quite the same. I'm just saying when you're trying to sell a product, it's all product seller. Another way would be like if you're a baker, you want to sell your artisan stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to be caught fucking pounding great value cinnamon rolls from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're
I see
definitely
exactly what you're
right. There is more chaos than I think people want to let on, and it's only going to get worse. I think.
Is there a subversive counter to what we're trying to do in beer going on that's toxic in beer? Is that what you're saying, Steve? Because we all know that.
I just think if you want people to not go back to that stuff,
Well, no, but you see a lot of social media based around the idea if you put lactose or something sweet in a beer, you've done something morally wrong to somebody,
right?
And and that's those people, and they can enjoy their products, and I wish the best for them.
Yeah.
But am I going to be bullied into not doing it? I won't be bullied into anything.
Sure.
So, and that way, if you come here, we'll find still beers you like, even if you're the most diehard lactose is Satan type person, or if you're like, fruited sour beers make me question my identity or whatever it is that makes you not want to go to a brewery because they have a beer that someone else is drinking that's not in your hand that you don't like. Instead of just the beer that you could love, we have that beer you can love on the list. Yeah. And so we've always done our very best to have the multi-ambers on and the more traditional beers and the classic IPAs. And, I find, especially the oat lager is in that same way, is exactly that beer.
For sure, but that wasn't quite what Steve was
saying. Of course. but it's a roundabout referencing the problem, which is that a lot of people want to tell you that you can't drink something.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't kiss who I like, and I can't vote how I like, and I can't love who I like. And I mean, it's all the same thing to me.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying you can't do those things. Yeah. I'm just saying people should be way more aware that everybody's watching what you're doing.
For sure. But I think what you're showing is how much of that gleeful counterculture is going on within, like what we consider pushing the envelope.
Yeah, it's
go too far. Have you even thought about it? Yeah, we did.
It's a little too. Yeah, it's a little too obvious, and it doesn't instill confidence in everybody else. Like especially if I get like the difference between drinking like a heavily lactose IPA and then hams. Those aren't the same beer,
right?
But if you're a brewery who's putting out lagers, I don't follow Notch or anything, but I feel like you probably never see Notch post on their social media drinking. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they're posting on social media, they're probably posting their lagers, not somebody else's.
Yeah. So, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Drink local.
Adam,
it really is important. You know what I mean? Because you want your bakery to be in your backyard.
Oh yeah, for
sure.
You
want to drive 10,000 miles to get a loaf of bread, and you want your beer to be just as fresh.
Right? And I mean, it's kind of the whole reason, like, why I got into drinking craft beer is because I wanted to support things that I believed in. Don't make me not believe in the things.
Right. Yeah.
I want to see where my dollar is going.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want my dollar.
People have told us that here to our face at the register, that I know every dollar I spent on beer here made me better beer. And like, wow, that's awesome. Thank you. They've been coming here for 5 years, and like, you keep making better beer, I keep coming.
Right. And unfortunately, you had mentioned earlier, like Modelo and AB InBev and all of them are buying up all of these, mid-level craft breweries, and it's blurring that line a whole hell of a lot.
Correct.
So you have to be in the know to understand where your dollar is going. And if you know, and I hate that phrase, but if you know, you can avoid it. But if you don't know, you can have a fancy label and like, oh, we're from, Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're local, but not really.
Yeah, and they don't want you to know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's enough people who don't care to like do that kind of research, and that's fine.
And I get that.
It's fine. There's so many more products now.
Yeah.
When Dave and I used to go to the D's hot dog shop and put together 8 beers to take back to a house party and get weird with. I'm going like Hobgoblin, Elephant, and Findemon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was only 100 and some beers to choose from on Earth at that time that we could get our hands on. You know what I mean? So now you go to a distributor and you have local products, national products, like everything stacked on top of each other, plus distro, plus those same 100 beers are all in the same room.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, how do you keep challenging the customer to remember you exist? That's wild to me.
Yeah. Yep. Adam, did you have a consumer hot take or where you thought the future might be?
So I think the future is still going to be local, because I feel that once you get into the regional, and I don't take like Great Lakes as an example. They make good beer. But as a beer drinker, aside from one or two of their products, like their Christmas beer, when was the last time you ever sought anything from them out?
Right.
They just blend into the background because you're either going for that, $11 case of Montucky cold snack, or you're going for the 4-pack of the local stuff right over here. And they're sort of left behind. And I feel that eventually there's some of those big ones. Green Flash is a good example of that. And now, granted, they kind of did that to themselves because they tried to expand too fast.
Right.
But some of those, I think, are going to start seeing some contractions and collapse in the next 4 or 5 years.
I'll speak this just real quick. Green Flash is a little more than I would say regional.
Agreed.
They tried to go national and fell apart.
I mean, Great Lakes is regional, and I mean, honestly, I was inspired by Great Lakes.
They make great beers.
When we were home brewing those their stuff was amazing. And that definitely helped inspire me.
I can name 10 of their beers. Nosferatu. Let's do this. 100%.
I mean, there'll be, there's going to be ebb and flows. You just have to make good beer.
Right.
That's
right. And I think that they would be on the contraction rather than the collapse side of things.
It's tough with as many people that open to make beer. There's only so much beer to be bought, and the beer market is not expanding from what we've seen from from younger generations. It's not. They like everything else, so that the market is just not like a big tap-in market that we're
right. If the Z's were all drinking beers, no, they were drinking everything. So you're only getting 10% of the Z's, and
that's a good point.
As you move up, maybe 20% of the millennials, 30% of the millennials drink beer. Other ones that crack cocktails don't drink beer. You know what I mean? Don't drink anything. Love pop, soda for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like you saw, like seltzer, like. It boomed, but then it collapsed really quick. Yeah. But I mean, there's still dollars
there's still
being
market share of it.
It only
just
collapsed
there
in a
now.
certain way.
Yeah, but it's still like like you're saying, like the Z's they're spreading the dollars out across all of those products.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
well, because they're figuring it out too. And if the millennials didn't believe that you could tell them something beforehand, the Z's think it's a joke that you think you tell them something beforehand. They're like, "Oh, really? You know what I like?" Right? Instead of being offended by it.
I know. I hate that generation. They take all of my like anti-corporatism and nihilism and everything, and they turn it up to 11. And it's like, that was my gimmick. Fuck off.
But now I'm the man before I was cool.
But now I'm old and irrelevant, and they're just doing it better and funnier than I am. And I hate it.
The content is great amongst the kids. I think they're doing a great job.
They're hilarious. Because they don't give a shit. They know the world's going to be over. Yeah, the world's going to be over. So what the fuck? And I'm like, damn it!
I think
stole my steez.
Legit. The whistling in hell generation is disease. They're like, cool. How much worse could it be? They're like, whatever. You already took everything from me. I don't even get to graduate high school with my friends. Like, you're going to tell me how bad this is?
I didn't get a graduation. I didn't get a prom. I'm never going to own a house.
Exactly right.
What the fuck? Fuck you.
Exactly right. I mean, I'm thinking, and they're doing it with a lot of class. I would say.
Well, they're doing it funny.
To how well we did it.
But all right, that's how you
talk about this. Do we finish this beer? Do we talk?
Well, we finished it. Yeah, we finished this beer, and we're going to come back and we're going to put them all on the podium as we do. But yeah, let's come back real quick to the. I guess is there an official name for it? Bourbon Barrel Imperial Stout or?
Yeah, just bourbon. Barrel aged Imperial Stout.
Okay.
Version 1.0. This is the first barrel aged stout
for the 5th anniversary of Abjuration. Yeah, it was enjoyable. It's easy to drink, surprisingly. There's that hot barrel burn up front, but like it doesn't linger in a really offensive way. It doesn't overburn you. And then you also get that complexity of the chocolate on the back end that I really enjoyed. So, yeah, people are going to enjoy this one coming up in 2 weeks or so.
Yes. And to clarify, the chocolate notes, that's coming from the grain bill rather than an adjunct addition of chocolate?
Correct. It's just, Yeah, there's no actual chocolate or anything in that. Yeah, it's just
a straight up and down.
Just grain, yeast. Yep. Straight up.
Just the core 4.
It's a Ryan's Gevalta beer, which is really wild that we pulled that off in a weird way.
I don't know if barrels are right.
They used barrels back then, Dave. I think we're good.
We'll round up. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the whiskey and then the barrel would be? Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
the Commissar might come around with a wavy finger on you.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, I get paranoid about the Commissar.
Uh-oh. Don't turn around.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
No, I know.
All right.
I just wanted to see how far you were going to go.
It's not that far.
That's right. We don't want to get a hit.
So, yeah, let's go to the podiums where we rank all the beers that we had tonight, bronze, silver, gold. It's kind of tough because, I mean, they were all very good and they're all different styled. I'm going to go bronze. I'm going to give it to the Oat Lager. I enjoy that beer a lot, and it's super drinkable, and it's very refreshing, and I would definitely, like, enjoy that at, like, a tailgate or over the summer. I don't know. It's just not dark enough or heavy enough. I'm into Schwarzbiers and Pivos right now. That's my jam at the moment. It needs to be dark. I want some Doppelbocks. Mm-hmm. This is light and refreshing, and it's like, no, too much spring. Get it out of here. So yeah, it's really enjoyable though, and I look forward to more iterations of it. But yeah, give that the bronze. Silver, I'm gonna give.
This is interesting.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know. I forgot that you guys have to rate them at the end.
Yeah.
Well, you do too.
You do too. Oh. That's why we go first.
Lord.
I'm gonna give to the black cherry.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the black cherry a lot. It's a nice candy sour. The flavors come through all in a great way. It's not overly sour. It's a little sweet, so I don't know that I could drink too much of it. But the cherry flavor is right on point. It's not like medicine-y or anything like that, which is always the scary thing with fucking cherries. Cherries are either too tart or too medicine-y. You know, so many people can only do them.
I avoided cherry for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I fought for it for years.
Cherry is a very tough flavor. As soon as you add alcohol, there's cough syrup for every kid in all of North America.
Right.
Flakes back.
You think about how many of the really good cherry beers are that are out there.
Yep.
And it's like they've been around forever.
Yep.
So like you have the Castile Rouge and the Cheese Neuf or the Nice Chouf, whatever. And then Wisconsin Belgian Red. Like those are probably the top 3 fucking cherry beers ever. Mm-hmm. You know, so they do it right. But then, like, everybody else tries, and it's like, But, yeah, this one works really well. I like it. It's just a little too sweet to have too much of it. Yep. And so, gold I'm going to give to this 5th anniversary barrel-aged stout. I think another answer to your question, Tom, about, like, where consumerism's going, we're seeing the pullback of, like, away from crazy adjuncts. And I'm even noticing it in myself. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, I'm seeking out more plainer beers, essentially, of just like, you know, Pivos, Schwarzbier, Doppelbock. Like, you know, they're still dark, heavy beers, but like they don't have a bunch of crazy goof shit in them. I still like my goof shit beers. Mm-hmm. I still love them. But like, yeah, I think this one's going to play really well because it is just a straight up and down stout with, you know, the barrel age on it. So, and it's just rich and complex on its own without, you know, but also when you guys do fucking peanut butter cup and coconut, I'll be in line for that as well. So fuck it.
For me, this is kind of a tough one, but fortunately Steve went first, so I had a little bit of time to think about it. I think I'm going to go with the dark cherry in the bronze medal position. And Steve kind of touched on it, and Tom touched on it as well. And that might have been off mic, that the sweetness on it, it's there, but you can't hammer through a 4-pack of it. Mm-hmm. That's for damn sure. No. So it is kind of I'll say a special occasion beer where, you want something sweet and you want that big burst of flavor. So with that being kind of a special occasion beer, that's the only reason I can justify putting it in the bronze medal position, but somebody's got to be there. So it's going there. In the silver medal position, I think I'm going to go, actually, I know I'm going to go with the oat lager. I like that beer. Steve said it was too bright for the time and stuff like that. I disagree. I thought it was great.
Yeah, but you hate the snow and the cold. You're a fucking baby.
It's true. It's true. If I could live in Florida right now, well, Florida weather right now,
all right, not Florida actual.
I would. But yeah,
and it snowed today here. Actually,
I know.
Hell yeah!
I was fully expecting you showing up in shorts. I was waiting for that.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
But yeah, I found it to be a really good beer. I look forward to seeing the variation on the dark oat lager. I find that very intriguing. But this one in and of itself was a good beer. I like the brightness of it. It drew me back in, and I can see myself having a couple of those. Unfortunately for those two, it went up against this stout. It's barrel-aged stout. I thought it was fantastic, especially now that I know that there weren't any particular adjuncts in there, that it was just, it was just a straight down the middle recipe, barrel-aged El Clasico, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. If you can, get it.
Thank you.
It's fucking
gold medal.
It's fucking dangerous for 11%.
It is.
I mean, you'll realize it's 11%.
You will, but it might be too late if you go too hard too fast.
Yeah, it'll still get you.
Read the label first.
It's one of those kind of beers where when we hand it to the customer, they're like, hey, if you could let it open up by leaving it warm in your hand for a second, it's always good for the beer. And they say, yeah, next one maybe.
Yeah. Pour it now.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
Bam. Down it goes.
All right, Tom, Dave, whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. I like this.
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going the same as Steve. I got to put the oat lager and the bronze. I love that beer. This is like picking my kids, but the oat lager has got to be in the bronze, and then the citrus cherry slushy. A little sweet, but I'm still kind of into it in a weird way. So, it goes in that silver, and then I'm really happy how the stout turned out. So it's got to be in my gold spot as well with you guys. So I'm pretty excited how that turned out. I'm real curious to see what people think of that, because I'm happy with it. But you never know.
Right.
But yeah.
So I'm going to go with the mountainy cherry beverage as the bronze, and then which I really enjoy because I like all those flavors, and I think it really shows, obviously what we do with the fun stuff. It's right there. It does all the cool things. But the oat lager is where I want to go with beer. I think it's cool. I think it's like it's so normal. You're just doing oats, grain, yeast, lager it. And then, of course, the gold position is the barrel aged, which is doing the exact same thing, just to 11%.
Yeah.
But in that way, it shows like a great diversity of mouth and everything that I want in our higher ABVs. We've been searching for this higher ABV game the entire time. So to be hitting one out of the park is real nice for the 5-year, and just means we got more bats.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. Well, why don't you guys continue on and just give everybody the social medias and the websites, and let everybody know, the details coming up for the 26th, whatever you want to put out there.
Well, weekday, we're open essentially Thursday through Tuesday. We're only closed Wednesdays, to say in a weird way. And essentially Monday, Tuesday, and we're open in a way that a lot of people don't get to go out for. So not a lot of breweries are open, but we allow BY in for food. So it's still a really nice time out. And we have a 4-pack special on Mondays. So you get $2 off. Oh. So that's fun. And then Thursday through the weekend, we're open until 10 o'clock. And, it's like the normal stuff. And, here in the Parkway. So Dave will give the social medias.
Yeah, I mean, social media, I think most people know just Abjuration Brewing. You just spell that word, it'll come up.
For everything.
It's in the episode title if you need help.
Yeah, unfortunately. You pick a weird name, that's the one thing you get. But, come out for the anniversary, November 26th, I think it is. We'll be 12 to 10. Most of the Abjuration staff will be here during most of the day, so you can talk to us. Blue Sparrow will be here later. Roger Romero will be here playing later. It's gonna be a good day. Fire pit's going. Hopefully the weather cooperates, at least that it's not raining the whole time. Last year it snowed. Said this already earlier, so it can't be worse than that. But if it rained all day, it would stink. But a lot of new beers on. There'll be, beyond some of the beers that we talked about tonight, there'll be a couple surprises.
We have secrets.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's going to be a good day. it's gonna be a good day. So stop down and see us. If not, hopefully we will stop down and see us another time.
Yeah, if we're like, if you can't make it in that Saturday, the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you'll probably still, hopefully, be able to get some of those beers. But we can't guarantee you.
The stout, I'm worried about. We'll see. I mean, we have a decent run of it, but hopefully it sells out. That would be great. But we never know.
That's what you call good problems.
Yeah. Either way, we'll be here with open hearts and smiles. So we appreciate all you people.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of staff on, so hopefully we're always cognizant of the line movement. Like I said, there might be, again, depending on the weather, there might be like a remote spot to get a beer as well.
Yeah, we have a second register set up.
Yeah, so we'll
It's
see.
like its own little festival.
Hopefully the weather cooperates with us, but
We'll put in a good word.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Look here, God.
Okay, not quite like that.
There's
but a little
lot
bit
of
like
sub
that.
deities that are pretty prevalent in North America. We don't necessarily need to get Yahweh on this one. You know what I mean? Just think Allegheny County. Just work local.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, with that, if you want to find us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher like Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on everything that starts in pod and ends in cast. And if you're on any of those platforms, leave a 5-star review because
we are a 5th anniversary show, and you better be here for it.
That's right. And that's a bigger crime than... Well, that's actually not a crime. That's just the 5th anniversary.
Yeah,
it's just
be here.
Yeah, you ruined the thing.
I know I did.
you screwed it up.
I zigged when you thought I was gonna zag.
You got me. But yeah, thanks again, Tom and Dave, for always coming on the show and always giving us good insight and sharing your beer with us and sharing your space with us and sharing your time with us.
Thank you.
It's always a great time. That's why we keep coming back, obviously.
Thank you for having us, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
it means a lot.
It's been awesome. We kind of grew up together. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't get to look back and say, "Hey, where did we come from?" Unless we're standing next to each other. So
right. Yeah. I mean, we've definitely seen you guys go from the little 2-barrel system that you had, with the few taps that you had, and now you have like 2 fucking pages of taps and cans in the fridge.
The first time you guys were here, we were just a little 1-barrel.
1-barrel.
It might have just been 1 barrel. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But
you guys are 271 through, so we're probably part of that too. That means a lot to us.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, you have at least 6 episodes I can remember.
And a number of more where your beers were on as well.
Oh, yeah. We try to listen to all of them when we can, when I'm at the gym and whatnot.
Yeah. But, thanks for supporting us. And then, we'll be back next week. I don't know what we're doing.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's fucking Thanksgiving, and it's always hard to plan holiday shit. So
we'll shoot some gravy or something.
Yeah,
we'll do gravy shooters.
Yeah, we'll do gravy shooters next week. So, all right, we'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you guys.